front. Now we're going to see a little four-wide action. Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he can throw it in the lead on the record.
3 by 3 entering 4.
3-2. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega.
Hello everybody, welcome into Talladega Superspeedway for the SummerSlam 75 for the PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series. If you're just tuning in, you are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Big money on the line, a lot of prizes in fact, I guess, because money does pay all the way through 10th. Let's get right down into your starting grid. Had some trouble earlier, but here we are, and we are going to get this thing rolling. 11:08 or not, we might be rolling right on in to Friday night to finish it, or Friday morning rather, to finish this thing up. Drivers had to redo qualifying, but Steve Korsak, no change for him. He stays on pole. Kevin Freese second. Zachary Lima and new teammate got in off the wait list between all these issues. Sebastian Marin, he's going to be starting fourth. Sean Hill, Gabe Butler make up row 3. It's going to be Matt Lee and David Sheets in row 4. Ken McCall Jr. and Jeff Merck rounding out your top 10. Garrett Main starts in 11th. Mike Davenport to his outside in 12th. Vicente Guerrero in 13th. Ron Morse Jr. 14th. Danny Eshelman and Dawson Wise making up row 8. John Mullahan and John Ellis Jr. making up row 9. It's going to be Trevor Osmernoth and Rhett Tucker rounding out your top 20 here tonight. Michael Triscaro, series owner, is going to be starting 21st to his outside. Devin Ray in 22nd. Joshua Watson 23rd, Tanner Kassinger in 24th, Dustin Carruthers 25th, Richard Elliott in 26th, Heath Job going to start 27th, Heath Job going to be starting 28th, Jacob Emery's in 27th, Casey Sweat starts 29th, Bobby Forbes rounding out your top 30. Halfway through the field, J.R. Miller starts 31st, Michael Menchaca 32nd, Brian Watson 33rd, Danny Barnes at 34th, Jason Maines 35th, Ryan Bass 36th, Adrian Watson, 37th. David Duke to his outside and 38th. Going to be Sierra Clampert and Christopher Hall rounding out your top 40. Row 21 is going to be Andrew McGronicle and Charles Burt. Row 22 is going to be John Darnell and Zach Range. 45th, Troy Wilson. 46th, Cole Fitzpatrick. Dalton Powell starts 47th. Daniel Eberhardt managed to get his way in here. He's going to be starting 48th. Dylan Jones, 49th. Cody Nagels rounding out your top 50. John Ward starts in 51st. Bradley Steffen in 52nd. Brock Westmoreland in 53rd. Chad Ross for Team 3 in 54th. 55th is going to be Ryan Haynes. Christopher McCall in 56th. Logan York in 57th. Austin Moore in 58th. And Brett Spod and Mark Vondell going to be rounding out your top 60 here tonight. Looking at your race info, nothing's changed there. Track temp is going to be very toasty nonetheless tonight, well over 100 degrees. 75 laps is the length here tonight, 60% fuel. Everybody's going to have unlimited tires, but only one fast repair tonight. Fixed setups and 3 green-white checkers. One of the new things, weather outside, 80 degrees, 55% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and winds at 1 mile an hour, so that is not going to affect these drivers at all. All right, well, the anticipation, the nerves, they have certainly had time to build up about an hour after original start time. But somehow, some way, they got it figured out, and we are going to have ourselves some racing here on a Thursday night. Pace car is going to work its way. It takes the hard left turn on the pit road for the first time. No scheduled cautions. We could certainly see some fuel. Green flag stops. That is going to be the name of the game, at least planned for now for all these drivers. Here we go. Steve Korsak, Kevin Freese. The inaugural PGR SummerSlam 75 is underway at Talladega. And caution is already out. Looks like it was in the back of the pack just as we got ready to get our wall cams going. I think whoever was got back rolling. Is that going to be Dylan Jones? It is. Dylan Jones with trouble. Maybe before we even got to the start-finish line. Let's go back and take a look at it. And does this just start on the restart? Oh, this is way ahead of Dylan Jones, actually. This is going to start. Let's see if we can get a blimp cam of this to see where it actually starts. And is it going to be a checkup or is somebody... You see a couple checkups. Ooh, actually, this is third row on the bottom. Wow. Looked like a couple really, really interesting netcode issues right there. Got to take a look at this from the top. Now watch this. This is going to start. There's like a break in the pack here almost. This is a really odd look. So it is going to be a stack up. Initially, it looked like from that last view that we were on that it might have been in one of the closer to the front rows, but it's not going to be the case. Oh, yeah, that's just a big stack-up effect. John Mullihan gets into the back of, I believe that might be his teammate, Danny Escherman. Yep, sure enough. And then they're both going to take the hard left turn down into the inside wall. I think Danny actually hits it. John, on the other hand, maybe gets away. I don't think either guy got too much damage, but going to the back of a 60-truck field is definitely not going to be easy to recover from. Yep, sure enough. That's going to be John Mullihan and Danny Escherman. Take a look from the TV follow cam. They're just going to stack up here. The big fields, and it looks like Matt Lee is where this starts. Black truck at the bottom of your screen. Yeah, he misses a gear, gets caught sleeping, and then the stacking up just gets bigger and bigger the further back you go. And those are two teammates as well, so that's a tough break for not only those two, but McCall Motorsports as a team. 2 laps in, but of course caution fell in the first one, so we're going to get these guys racked up, get ready to go back going. We do have quite a few drivers rocking the onboard cams here tonight. Matthew Baker, our co-host, he's been working on some stuff here tonight, so not sure if he's actually going to get to join us or not. Certainly hoping he will. We'll have to find out as this thing goes on. Matt Lee, one of the drivers carrying an onboard cam, popping up in your bottom right there if we can get it to show up. There he goes. John Darnell, going to be another one of our drivers carrying an onboard cam here tonight. Got a lot of guys doing it. We like to see these onboard cams, especially when they get racing. Usually gives you a good view. Sometimes when certain guys, I guess, let's just go over here. Jeff Merck, this guy, he gets in the zone, and you know when he is going at it because he has got the I am focused face on. Not right now. These guys are under caution. Heart rates are calm. Everybody's just getting settled in. Long race here. We got a lot more cams to show you, but we'll go ahead and save them. We don't want to spoil all the fun just yet. Nobody's going to pit here. You wouldn't really expect to, at least. There's just no point. It's almost the same thing as if we had the delay. Just going to be starting 2 laps later, technically. But keeping an eye on, of course, we know that the guys that are going to be good, rather, Garrett Maines. We talked to him in the pre-race. Of course, that was on the last broadcast, but either way, he's already got 2 wins in the series. We'll see if he can get a 3rd tonight. How about the man that they're calling the king of the PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series? That's Kevin Freeze. Got 3 wins on the season, but boy, he would sure like to get a couple more as it stands right now. But he's still going to have to work pretty hard tonight. 60 truck field is not going to be an easy thing to stay in front of. Sebastian Marin, we talked about, he got in late, but he got to join his Dale Cup teammates, and he is another one that is one of the best of the best. Well over 8,000 iRating. When it comes to super speedways, you will not find many guys better. If you have him either behind you or in front of you, you know that you are going to be going to the front. Gabe Butler also out here for Dale Cup tonight. There's Jeff Merck. David Sheets looks like is going to be the highest running McCall Motorsports driver as of right now. Mike Davenport for Team PGR running a Ghost Racing Network paint scheme. There's Ron Morris Jr. But what if we get a rookie win tonight, right? We got some newer guys in here. Could be looking at a potential upset. Of course, Ryan Bass, Mark Vondell sitting in the back right now. They started further back there. Haven't had much luck. Brett Spod, another driver from the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series. How cool would it be if he could somehow find himself a way to get the win tonight? Ryan Haynes, Brock Westmoreland even. We saw him getting the money the other night. Could he maybe find a win here tonight? Again, $750 to win. So there is plenty at stake tonight. You know guys are going to be getting really aggressive at the end. Still waiting to see if our co-host Baker has joined us in the booth yet. 4 of 75 laps. And again, if you tuned in earlier, you probably noticed that we had quite a few troubles. Tried to get things sorted out, worked out. Eventually did, but fortunately not the experience we wanted to give these guys or anybody watching back home for the inaugural PGR SummerSlam 75. It was a promising field. Hey, the race got sold out 2 days before it was even time to race it. And the wait list got pretty long there. I think it was about five or six drivers on it, all trying to get in. Had a couple more today trying to get in. But I don't look to see this field separate out much at all. I think we're going to stay 2 wide at most for maybe half a lap, and then we're going to be 3 wide in no time. Everybody in the back knows how important track position is going to be, and you got guys on all sides of the table. Some of them are expecting a wreck fest. Other guys would like to see it go green all the way, get pit stops to split things up, and everything in between. So we will see what happens here. But I always like the idea in these big fields, if you're top 15 or so, I would say, and up, try to get to the front. The front's the safest place to be. You got the smallest chance of getting in a wreck. If you find yourself maybe half the field on back, just go ahead and fall to the back. Play it a little bit safe. No point in rushing anything. Everybody that's out in the chat tonight, hopefully you're doing well. David Overstreet, looks like Josh Olszewski is in here as well. Duck Duck, good to see you out here. Hope you're having a good night. The Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series is watching. Robert Miller, rooting on McCall Motorsports, and X Factor Mike, out here watching tonight as well. Good to see everybody in here early. 47 had quite a few earlier. Was hoping we'd get them all back, but technical difficulties had to strike. But either way, we're getting ready to go back green. First restart of the night, had a caution early. We'll see if we can get things rolling a little quicker. And we're going to try your little first lap wall cam segment, if you will, here again. Here we go. Green flag back in the air at Talladega. Working our way into the tribal here to complete lap 1 on the first restart. Lap 5 of the race. Sebastian Marin already on the back bumper of Kevin Fries. These two already choosing to stay in the top line, though. You can tell they usually feel the most comfortable there. That's what we see from some of the really good guys, the heavy hitters, if you will. No third lane just yet, at least nowhere up front, even towards the back. Everybody's staying double file for now. But the packs definitely had gotten separated from that restart, and it usually takes them about a handful of laps or so for everybody to gather it up and get back together. Michael Triscaro had a glimpse of him. He's running a new paint scheme out here tonight. He'd like to get it in victory lane. But up front, those top three. The first one of the Mains Boys teammates in Kevin Fries, Sebastian Marin. I thought he would jump down with his teammate Zachary Lima, but Lima's going to beat him to the punch, leads the inside. He's got Sean Hill behind him. Steve Korsek, third truck up top. And these guys not going to side draft on each other, at least not too hard right now. There's just not really a point in doing so. Everybody does have that one faster pair to lean on. Nobody's had to use one yet, I wouldn't think. Potentially John Mullihan and his teammate Danny Esselman involved in that first wreck, but I don't even think they probably had to use it. Meanwhile, back here we got battles all throughout the field. There's a couple of the JBR E-Racing teammates right now. Adrian Watts, one of the newer guys we talked about tonight in the 08 machine, he's trying to help out. He's got a teammate behind him in Joshua Watson. There's the 10 truck of Dustin Carruthers, rocking a new paint scheme on that tonight as well. Jacob Emery just in front of him. All these guys are sitting back a little bit. Zachary Lima has managed to take the lead. Sean Hill's trying to get clear with him, but he's going to push the 4 up the track. Lima has to jump to the top now in front of Kevin Fries. That's going to let the 77 cool down a little bit. And still not too much three-wide action, but we are going to have some guys feeling a little dicey here. Leading the top line now is going to be the 98, it looks like. I'll have to take a double look at that here. Is that Rhett Tucker? Cannot tell from the initial view. Michael Triscaro is in line with these guys right here. And it looks like Rhett Tucker is riding on the bottom up top. About the 98, Dawson Wise. We've had him in the booth with us a couple times. He's got the SummerSlam paint scheme on, and he does have some help right now. He might need a little bit more. Matt Lee on the bottom, but he does have Michael Triscaro and Vicente Guerrero both working with him up top. 3 trucks is all you need to get that third line working, but they're going to tag on a couple more. Kevin Fries and Sebastian Marin both jump to the top. Now Jeff Merck finds a way to lead the middle. He's got a teammate to his inside. You know, those two would like to stick together for as long as possible. And just like that, the whole pack, throw them all under a blanket, 3 by 3 for probably about 20 rows deep. Garrett Maines, you see him trying to slide his way up to the middle. He sits behind Gabe Butler in the 88 truck. John Ellis Jr. just behind his teammate. The 88 of Heath Job, he rides in the back of this pack on the outside. The 43, the Aflac machine of Zach Range. One of the newer guys out here tonight, and everybody likes an underdog victory. How about if this guy could somehow find his way into victory lane? Ken McCall Jr., team captain for McCall Motorsports. He's been on a streak lately. We'll see if he can continue that tonight. Here's Devin Ray. Finds himself in 24th position, and we got so many trucks tonight. You see some of them don't even actually load, it looks like, until we get further back there. But the first 30 trucks still staying 3 by 3. These guys not too worried about it. Again, there's no pay. There's no stage points. Nothing for leading any of these laps right now. All that's going to matter is the end of the race. So I kind of expected everybody to stay a little bit more calm. I know I thought we would maybe stay double file and then get single file and ready for pit stops. But everybody wants the track position more than anything. Again, that pit stop 60% fuel. Everybody should be able to go somewhere around 19 laps. I think that's going to put us somewhere around 3 stops. But regarding the first stop, again, you're going to have to be perfect on all of them. You never know when the caution's going to fly, and you certainly don't want to go a lap down. But I'm expecting this first pit stop, if I had to guess, probably somewhere in the low to mid-20s. I think at the latest, maybe around 25. Ooh, Lima got shoved out of line by his teammate. He holds on, but in the back, they're going to wreck. Michael Triscaro back up the track. He gets tagged by a couple. Heat Job involved. Now the rest of the field's going to slide in. We got a parking lot out of turn 2. And this is one of the dangers of when you have one truck go around in a field this big. Looks like John Darnell's trying to get it back, rolling on the banking there. The 49 truck had absolutely nowhere to go either. Michael Menchaca. We still got people trying to get rolling. There's Cody Nagels, Chad Ross. All drivers involved in this one. First big one of the night. Let's go back and take a look at what brings it out. There's kind of a 2-wreck deal, and I wonder if the second one wasn't caused from the checkup in the first one, and this second pack was way back, and they still got involved. Watch Lima here. He's going to get shoved up. Does he make contact down below with someone, or does he get some help from his teammate right here? It looks like, ooh, it looks like Steve is on his back bumper. Maybe gets him just a little offset. Now watch the job Lima does here to hold on to this. Somehow, some way he does. Slips up into the third lane, but nonetheless holds on. Now back here is where we're going to get into some trouble. Looking for Michael Triscaro in the 34 truck. And he was the first one that actually had went around. And watch, yeah, 34, he'd already wrecked at this point. So let's back it up a little bit. And does he get tagged in the back from the checkups? Yeah, looks like everybody trying to check up. They might get 3-4 wide. They're kind of awkward, and 34 gets tapped in the left rear. Round he goes. Ken McCall Jr., the first to arrive on the scene. And then there's everybody else sliding down the bank in the back, piling in, just nowhere to go. 46 truck was in it. Looks like Logan York. He's able to sneak by right at the end of it. A couple more shots of it here. Left to right on board with Michael Triscaro. And it's got to be frustrating as a driver, too. That's one of the things you worry about when you're thinking about playing it safe. You're kind of riding behind the pack, but still with the pack at the same time. You always have in the back of your mind, you're hoping that the guys behind you can check up and get organized before you arrive on scene of the wreck. In this case, they just couldn't. Gets turned, and here's the big hits. I believe that might have been Richard Elliott that just clipped him as he tried to sneak by the top line. Go back live. Got a lot of trucks on pit road. We're going to see quite a few fast repairs, but out front, how about one of the rookies in here, Tanner Kassinger? He leads the way here. The 18 truck up 23 positions from where he started. Kevin Fries finds himself in second. Sean Hill third. Jeff Merck sits in fourth. Steve Korsek rounding out your top 5. Jeff, of course, one of the drivers that is carrying one of our onboard cams tonight. See him there in the bottom right. One of the guys that's got the triples. Most of these guys in here do have the triples. NBG Motorsports has a couple guys carrying the onboard cams. Cody Nagels as well. We'll be trying to get interviews throughout some of the field and potentially with some of these guys as the race goes on. Brian Watson for JBR E-Racing. He's up 17th from where he started in 16th. Again, top 10 payouts. So right now, if you're John Ellis Jr. or higher, I guess, if you will, Gabe Butler, Sebastian Marin, David Sheet, Zachary Lima, and 5th on up, you're all in the money right now, and the money's good money too. Pretty much double your money for finishing 10th on up, and then the payouts just get bigger and bigger. Of course, if you win here tonight, you're walking home with almost $1,750. So you know a lot of these guys are anxious to get it. There's Garrett Maines on the bottom right, one of the favorites. Nonetheless, here we'll see if he can get the job done here tonight. He is also streaming live on Twitch right now. Make sure you go check him out. He's got a pretty cool setup. I know he's got the GoPro cam on. He's got the normal cam, the race cam. I think he might have a foot cam as well that shows the way he's shifting and whatnot. So it's going to put us on a restart here, probably restart here on lap 14 or 15 if I had to guess. So that changes up the pit strategy now a little bit. It might go down to a two-stop. Let's see if these guys do 2 stops from here, they should be able to make it relatively 60. Ooh, it's going to be close actually. Maybe not. They still might have that third stop rather in play. It's going to be really, really close. We'll have to find out. If you're just joining in, Appreciate you spending your late Thursday night here with us. Had quite a few difficulties with the sessions and whatnot here tonight. And all we can do up here from the broadcast perspective is spectate and hope for the best. So I appreciate everybody working with me. I'm still kind of in shambles up here trying to figure things out. It doesn't look like I have my co-host that I was expecting to have tonight, Matthew Baker, with me. So we're still working on everything, but it's been a good broadcast, I feel like, to start nonetheless. And at this point, just hoping that we can get a green flag stopper to him, because that's when it really throws in the strategy. And I've always been a fan of when you throw in strategy to money races. And if you're one of the guys that's really good at pit stops, you love them. If you're not so good at pit stops, you hate them, and you're hoping that we do not have a single green flag pit stop. You can almost bet that we're going to have some, at least one, at one point tonight. But that last wreck, the big one, took out quite a few. Still have, everybody should be on track for the most part, in the sense of even if they're in the pits now, nobody's race should be over at this point. But yes, we do still have some on pit road. Looks like Bradley, Stefan, Charles, Abert, and Brock Westmoreland all currently sit on the pits. That's 58 through 60. David Duke, the last truck on track. Andrew McGonigal just in front of him. Jason Maines, keep an eye on him. Down 20 from where he started. He's got a lot of work ahead of him, but he's still got a long ways to go, as we are just about 60 laps still to go here. A couple more. 63, going to be 62 when we cross the line this time. And the pace car is going to take the hard left turn, so we can go back to green flag racing. So he does stay out. Little strategy here by Tanner Kassinger. We'll see if it works out, and how nice are these guys going to play with the rookie here. Sean Hill, Steve Korsak, do they try to split him, take him to the middle immediately? Or does the 18 maybe show a little muscle here, try to get up and lead the top line? Be a little bit of a ballsy move. We'll see what he decides to do. Green flag is back in the air. Spinning the tires just a little bit on the bottom, but Sean Hill right to his aid, going to give him a big shot as they cross the line. Down into turn one, the 18 still hanging side by side with Kevin Freese, but Jeff Merck lined up with the 25. That's where you're going to see the biggest run, is the backstretch of the first lap here. Watch from the TV follow cam. This 25 is going to try to shoot out. Can the 18 get a little bit of a side draft on him? Looks like he can't. Just like that, Kevin Freese is going to get clear. Does he decide to drop down, or does he stay up top? He is going to drop down. That's going to put Jeff Merck and Zachary Lima now leading the top. John Ellis Jr., Ron Morris Jr., Matt Lee. He looks like he might be a little antsy to go third lane. But how about Joshua Watson, Garrett Maines? Those two work together. Two very talented drivers. They're going to need a little bit more help. They'll keep pushing, trying to get to the top. But right now, still just a two. Looks like Rhett Tucker moves up to the middle. Now they're going to get Matt Lee. He likes what he sees. He's going to jump on board as he now moves up to the top line. Lap 15 completed. John Ellis Jr. makes it a four-truck. Well, I don't know what the word would be. I guess you would say, I don't know, the word for four either way. Still staying 3x3 throughout the pack. It's going to be about 4 rows deep as they stand right now. Dawson Wise, want to keep an eye on him throughout this race. We've had him in the booth a couple times. We've seen him on track a couple times, and he seems to be really, really good at both. The racing, when we've seen it so far tonight, has been really good. Of course, we had a couple early cautions. The racing at the end of this thing is going to be absolutely insane, though. We have seen 4 wide plenty of times in the PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series, but we have never seen as much money for a purse as it is tonight, and I think that's just going to make guys that much more crazy, that much more antsy, just like that. 3 wide still as we cross the line to complete lap 16. Kevin Freese is starting to fade on the bottom, and Jeff Merck's going to drop down. Looked like Zachary Lima tried to follow him, thought better of it. Might have a little bit of that tunnel vision. Couldn't tell that Merck was moving down, and he almost made contact with, oh man, that was close. And it looks like Lima does now finally find his way. Nope, that's still Merck on the bottom. I thought Lima had found his way to the bottom, but he's still stuck in that middle line. Second, pushing John Ellis Jr. to the top line. Matt Lee, he's going to get clear by plenty. In fact, Joshua Watson, he's going to follow. It looked like Watson tries, is kind of, in fact, all of JBRE Racing, I take that back, they're all kind of trying a more aggressive strategy out here tonight. And it seems to be working pretty well so far. Again, Joshua is one of our drivers that's carrying an onboard cam here tonight. There he is in the bottom right of your screen. Keeps a nice steady wheel. He knows he's got to here if he's getting pushed. But he dropped to the third truck on the inside line. A little surprised. But Kevin Freese and Matt Lee, they still lead that middle line. Garrett Maines, no surprise to see him back leading the top. And when you let Garrett get out in front, he is a very, very tough guy to contend with. And let him be able to find a way to get him sent back to the back. You're just not going to be able to do it. Here's a look at Brian Watson. Joshua Watson's teammate. We'll go back and see how he was running. He was having a good run, up 17 from where he started last time we had checked in. Adrian Watson, another one of the JBR E-Racing drivers. And right now, Brian finds himself a little bit more towards the back of the pack. Yeah, pretty far to the back of the pack. 53rd. Not sure if he had an issue or what. But this is a group of, looks like 4 trucks. Some of these guys may have some damage as well. But looking at your track map there on the right, they got some work to do if they're going to catch the pack and have a shot at it here. Again, you don't want to be this far back if we're going to have a pit stop. If we're going to get another caution, to be fine. 4 wide. John Ward up top, back up front. Thought about it, thought better of it as he tucks right back down in line. Garrett Main's still getting pushed. There hasn't really been any more movement since we had last checked up here. Ooh, Joshua Watson now is going to make a switch. He jumps to the bottom line. He's got Kevin Freeze behind him. Kevin Freeze, good push to that behind you. Have the most wins of anybody in the series. Also, in those podiums actually might be tied for the most wins. Either way, he's got 3 of them. Looking for a 4th one tonight. Now, another thing to note is we got a lot of streamers out here tonight. So we appreciate everybody, of course, watching the broadcast, but you got to make sure that you go show these guys and gals some love. Checking out some of the ones that I know we have up here, at least towards the front, and some of the ones that I can name right off the top of my head. There's Garrett Maines, having a great run to start. We talked to him in the pre-race. The other person that we talked to in the pre-race was Sierra Clampert. Had a couple questions for her. She sits around mid-pack right now, 37th, up 2 spots, but she said she thinks she got to be aggressive, and I think she was planning on trying to be a little bit more aggressive tonight than maybe she's been in the previous races. So far, it seems to be working out okay. I'm not sure if she was involved in that first wreck or not. I don't think she was. Actually, she may have been. So if she does have a fast pair left, she's still got plenty of time. However, if she doesn't, then that goes for everybody in here that doesn't have a fast pair right now. You really got to play it a lot more conservative, because all it takes is one more wreck for your night to come to an end soon. Joshua Watson, looking like a veteran out here from Money Racing. How about it? He jumps up to the middle lane now, leads Matt Lee. Kevin Freeze on the bottom, and you know Matt Lee is going to be pushing the daylights out of Joshua Watson right now. He wants him to get clear, and he wants him to drop down to the bottom as soon as possible. There's a look at Matt Lee, one of the NBG Motorsports drivers. They have quite a few teammates in here tonight. Jeff Merck, Matt Lee, Sean Hill. They might even have a couple more. Cody Nagels, of course. Joshua Watson leading the way. Matt Lee still his pusher right now. Not able to get clear, but you can see the one just ever so slightly drifting up. He has got all he can handle on the push right now. Oh my goodness, 3x3, and now guys are starting to get a little bit more messy and a little bit more chaotic. Joshua Watson is back clear low, but he doesn't seem to want to take it. If Matt Lee gets clear low, he might ditch him and drop to the inside. Sure enough, there he goes. Watson's going to try a block. It's not going to work. He's going to have to stay to the middle and wait for help from John Ellis Jr. Looks like medium icy. Oh, yellow flag is out. Trouble towards the back with, oh, it's going to be Zach Ranger. We got a wreck here towards the back with a couple other guys, too. It looks like there might be Logan York. And there is the 43 of Zach Range, who I was just going to say, medium icy, said, Zach, you got this. Let's go 43. And this is looking like a tough break. But let's take a look. Not sure how bad the damage is going to be from this just yet. And this was kind of in the secondary pack. These guys are all with the lead pack still. Is this just going to be another checkup? It sure enough looks like it is. J.R. Miller gets hooked. And Sierra is not going to sneak by this one. This is going to be an ugly hit. Watch this. Boom. Destroys the front half of the 30 truck. We had another one up in the air, maybe even in the catch fence. My goodness, that was the 54 truck of Brett Spod. Destroying his Chevy Silverado. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of exactly what starts that contact. It was J.R. Miller that had went around first. But did he get some help from the 54 Brett Spod here? That's the real question. And watch the 54. Oh, this is on the bottom line. Yeah, it's just a little bit of a checkup here. Kind of an odd checkup, too. These guys weren't too close together. Sierra kind of gets down a little bit here. No harm, no foul. She checks up a little bit. 54 checks up a little bit. Danny Barnes, Logan York, they can't quite check up in time, so they make some contact. That sends Brett Spod up into J.R. Miller. He gets turned, comes down into Sierra, and the rest is history. That was a big, big hit. Watch the 54 here. Up into the wall. It's going to get propelled up into the catch fence before he rides and slides back down. He's going to take another shot in the rear end. So that one's going to tear up a handful plus a couple more. Let's ride on board with Jason Maines. It looks like he had a pretty good view. Actually, let's ride on board first with Sierra Clampert. She currently sits last. She's in the pits right now with that damage, but watch the view that she's going to have of this. Big hit. It's a blindside one, too. She can't see it coming, so she's got no chance at steering down or really saving it. And then right on, so I want to see if we can ride on board here with Jason Maines. He looked like he had a pretty close call making it through this, but he does a good job nonetheless. Sees it there, he's going to duck low. Sees him wrecking up top. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Oh, he does make some contact with Logan York. The reaction time on this guy, though, watch this. He cannot see this truck coming down. This is a complete blindside angle for Jason Maines. Watch 43, nothing. And there it is, he sees it. Look at the RPMs drop, checks up, puts on the brakes. Maybe just ever so slight contact. Trying to sneak through, he's not quite able to miss Logan York, so that is going to give him some right front damage. Maybe a fast repair, we'll have to find out, but going back live, checking out your top 10 and all the money positions right now as it stands. Bobby Forbes leading the way. He's up 29 from where he started. It'll be Matt Lee in second, Kevin Freese third, Joshua Watson in fourth, Steve Korsak fifth, Zachary Lima in sixth, Dawson Wise seventh, John Ellis Jr. eighth, Sean Hill ninth, and Jeff Merck currently rounding out your top 10. I want to see, I'd like to pull somebody in for an interview here. Trying to decide who we should start with. We see if we can go ahead and get an interview here from Joshua Watson. We've already seen him on the driver cam a couple times, but I like his aggression early. Let's see what the mindset is. All right. Hey, Josh, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do, bud.
Well, I'm telling you, whether you notice it or not, the thing I've seen different about you tonight is you are not looking scared to make a move. Went right to the front, looking like a veteran out here, controlling all three lanes. Was that kind of by strategy or just maybe a little bit of a different feel, getting up front a little more here tonight?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, the strategy is to try to get all of us teammates together right now. Unfortunately, it isn't able to happen, so just trying to be aggressive as possible without being over aggressive. We've had some races where we weren't aggressive and got wrecked, so we want track position, want to try to be up front, and if that's what we got to do to try to control this and be up front at the end, then that's what we're going to do, is try to be as aggressive as we can without overstepping that boundary, and it worked there, so we're hoping to keep it going even more.
Speaking of track position, I want to ask you if there's any strategy that comes into play in the sense of, we see in a race like this, a lot of trucks, sometimes the end gets a little messy. If we get kind of within that final fuel window, kind of on the border, is there a strategy of thinking about staying out and hoping for another caution, or do you try to get to where you can make it the rest of the way on fuel as soon as possible so you can keep that track position?
I would prefer to try to get the fuel and then keep the track position from there. I don't want to be trying to pit late and come back up through. Kind of like you said, it gets a little messy at the end, so it's going to be all about trying to keep the track position and staying up here and, you know, giving ourselves the best shot to win. And we're going to put on a show doing it. I'm going to plan on being fairly aggressive and trying to stay up here, so hopefully we'll be able to put on a show for you guys.
Well, you've been putting on a show so far, so I don't see anything any less. All right, hey, thanks for talking to us. Good luck the rest of the way. We still got a while to go.
Thank you.
All right, Joshua Watson, we're going to send him back to his JBR E-Racing teammates. And right now, he's showing strength, but you will see Richard Elliott, Brian Watson, Adrian Watts. They will all make their way up here at some point or another. It's just about timing on when you get that track position, and can you keep it for the rest of the way. 24 of 75 laps completed now. We are almost a quarter of the way through. A couple announcements that we got to go through up here on the broadcast. Your top three super chatters, most recent, Mark Vondell with the $25 donation, a couple broadcasts to go. Richard Elliott last night with the $20 donation. Can't thank you enough for that, Richard, and we see him in the race tonight. And coming in third is going to be Logan York. He was another $20 donation, a couple broadcasts to go. And we see all three of those guys in the race here tonight. Sure, we're probably seeing a couple in the chat as well, but Ghost Racing Network got a lot of things now. Super chats, memberships, merch, any of them you want them, we got them. So make sure that you go check them out if you get some time. All right, here we go. Getting ready to get the green flag back in the air. Going to complete lap 25 of 75 as we cross the line. What can Bobby Forbes do out in front? This big chance in the shining lights. Here we go. Green flag is back in the air, and the 56 gets off to a great jump Got to be a little careful here. You don't want to get off to too good of a jump. He will be a sitting duck on the backstretch if he does. Matt Lee's going to jump right in line. That's going to strand Joshua Watson on the outside, but not for long because here comes Steve Korsak and company. See if they push the one truck or they decide to try to ditch him on the outside. You see Watson hesitating a little bit. He's got to be careful. He thought about a block. It's not going to work, so he jumps right back down to the inside. Now we're going to see the rest of the field jump high. They all leave Bobby Forbes. Steve Korsak goes 3 wide now. Zachary Lima is going to follow him. Looks like Garrett Maines goes to the top as well. But John Oates Jr., Kevin Freeze, they're going to stick to the middle line, push Matt Lee out. Now Kevin has a chance to drop to the bottom if he wants to do so. No move yet. The inside is starting to fade a little bit, but that's usually what we see in these big 3-wide packs. And you got to remember how hot the track temp was here tonight. Not only has that made it hard for a lot of these drivers to keep cool, but it's making it really hard to keep that bottom line fast at 138 degrees. Yeah, these guys, the bottom line just does not have grip. You got to put a lot more wheel into it, scrubbing off a lot more speed, and you can see that right now. The middle and top have really shown a lot more strength, and guys are taking notes of that. And I can promise you that by the end of this race, those will easily be the 2 favorite lines. Restarts or whether we're coming to the checkered flag, it doesn't matter. That is where everybody's going to be. Sierra Clampert, update on her after that wreck. She currently sits in 60th position, and unfortunately, she is quite a few laps down. It looks like, can't see exactly how many laps down she is. You'll see it here on your scoring tower on the left. And actually, all right, looks like she is 2 laps down, and we might have Matthew Baker in the booth now. Let's see if we've got a copy. Baker, you joining us?
And I am here. This has been a crazy start to the race. I'm about 6 high noons deep because of the stress I'm under, but we're getting the race control done. It's been a lot of good 3-wide action, as you see right now. I heard you talk about that track temp. 138 is nuts. I cannot believe how the people on the top line are able to keep it there cool and keep those temps down. It's really making the bottom line not the place to be through the entire race.
Steve Korsak still leads the middle line. Kevin Freeze on the bottom and Zachary Lima up top. I'll tell you what, Baker, I've been really impressed with Lima's, with a comeback race, if you will. We haven't seen him too much, and in fact, I was in Dale Cup pre-race, and those two were letting me know that they have not raced but maybe twice in the last few weeks or so. So for them to come back out, and it looks like they never skipped a beat, is pretty impressive. Dawson Wise pushing on the middle lane. He's doing a heck of a job. And Jeff Merck, Garrett Maines, I'm thinking maybe those two are thinking about 3 wide at a certain point. The question is just when. Still expecting another pit stop, though.
Yeah, still waiting for the other pit stop, but great 3-wide action we have going on here. People are getting really close. We haven't seen that right rear neck code. Don't want to give it the commentators because, but everyone's getting very, very close together. And Dale Cup has been prevailing this entire race. They've really dominated. Seabass had a speeding penalty earlier, but he'll get back up to the pack. It's just really fun to watch 3-wide all throughout the pack. Even guys that are back in the 3rd pack are taking it 3-wide as we speak.
And a speeding penalty might have been the only thing that we haven't seen so far here tonight. 3rd lane, they're going to get a couple more trucks tagged on as it looks like Joshua Watson jumps to the top as well. Jason Maines, did not take him long to start making his way back to the front. He's up to 23rd now. You see him trying to work his way through the middle with Ron Morris Jr. But it starts to kind of get clogged up here. You don't really have many more places to go. You could do 4 wide, but I think it's a little early for that. What I am seeing that I'm liking is that everybody has calmed down. Again, 3 wide is very doable here at Talladega. You just got to hold a pretty steady wheel. And since a couple of those cautions we've had so far during this run, everybody has looked a lot more collected, a lot more smooth. And don't look now, Baker, but Daniel Eberhardt, 4th on the inside. He got in here late, and he has a vengeance to get the win here tonight.
Absolutely. And another car here would be Daniel Eberhardt that got the late entry from Ambrose as well. 2 cars that weren't expected to be in the field made it out tonight, and they're 2 very good trucks out here.
And, you know, as these guys stay side by side, I want to bring up real quick that, Baker, while you're doing race control, we didn't get a chance to show your summer attire. And there it is. He's got the SummerSlam 75 in theme. He's got the sunglasses. What was that, a Hawaiian shirt? He's got
Absolutely.
It all rocking.
Rocking it out tonight.
Good to go. All right.
Everything's red on the screen.
All right, well, back up front. Hopefully we didn't mess you up, but either way, back up front, Kevin Freeze. Now he leads the bottom. Jeff Merck and Garrett Maines, they have pushed ahead on the top. Now, Baker, talking about that track temp, I think the absolute top lane here is going to be favored. But how does that apply when we see a 4th lane? Does a 4th lane become even more favored than the 3rd, or is not so much?
I really don't know what would happen. I think it would bring that bottom line right back into play, and it would be a drag race between the bottom 3 lines. It would take the 4th line a little bit longer to get wound up. We saw Jones and Maines try it a couple nights ago. They had the run, so I think they can get it done for the 4th lane whenever it comes. Had a big check up there going into 3, but everyone's able to sort it back out. Still 3x3 for the first 6 rows.
And that indeed did kind of break up the pack just a little bit. As Baker noted, the 3x3 up front, but they get it separated further back. In fact, with 60 trucks, takes up quite a bit of racetrack. You can see all these guys being separated probably about a quarter of the total track right now, from the leader all the way back to the person in last. We do still have a decent amount of people on the lead lap. In fact, right now it looks like 56th through 60th are the guys that are not on the lead lap. Jared Miller being the last truck on the lead lap. He finds himself entering turn 3 right about now. Mark Vondale just in front of him. Gabe Butler, what happened? He was having a great run. Looks like the truck's clean, but he finds himself back in 46th in this second pack with his teammate Sebastian Merino. We got one turned on the back here. Can they save it? I think that was Mike Davenport. Yeah, it was, and he does save it somehow. Oh my goodness. Close call for the 55. No caution, but he is going to lose the draft now, and he's probably not going to be too happy about that one.
I'm definitely not too happy about that one. Able to save it, gather it back up. Still great racing up front here, 3x3, all the way to this pit stop. As you see, the bottom and middle line really gets checked up there. You see Lima clear down to the bottom. He's got Garrett Maines in front of him. Now that middle line is going to really surge here.
Yeah, notice how they keep shuffling around, even though we talk about sometimes it becomes a gridlock. When the track temp is hot, the one thing I like about it is it does allow you, it almost makes you in your mind as a driver, you know, if you want to go to the front, you're going to do exactly what we see Daniel Eberhardt doing right there, who's about 5 trucks back. Jump up to the middle, jump up to the top, find a way to get to one of those top 2 lanes. If you're trapped, I would say 4th truck on back on the bottom. The reality is you're just probably not going to go anywhere, so you got to find a different line, try to make something work. Now here's a guy to take a look at. Trevor Oswornoff currently sits in 26th position. I believe he does hold one of our driver camps here tonight. Sure enough, he does. He's got the phone, keeping a nice steady wheel there. Man, look at, he's having to work the wheel, it looks like. Some of these guys run more force feedback than others. And man, he is really having to yank that thing to keep it on the track as he pushes to 56 of Bobby Forbes, who we saw in a wreck earlier. Bobby's recovered nicely, but he does not have a fast pair, so he is also going to have to play it safe. Still not quite halfway yet, Baker, but we're starting to look more and more like we could see a pit stop. Although the 3 wide, how about this? The 3rd lane's starting to fall back now.
Yeah, so it looks like Bobby Forbes come down pit road after he stayed out there. That strategy didn't pay off for him to get that caution that he was hoping for. He's going to lose the draft and have to really work hard to try and get back up on the lead lap here.
And they're thinking about, oh, it's going to get turned. This is going to be a huge wreck. His teammate gets in it. This is going to be the big one. Up into the outside, safer barrier. Huge hits for David Sheets. Adrian Watts. Looks like Jason Maines is in it as well. And when it happens at the front, Baker, it's going to travel all the way to the back. And it looks like that might have been what happened right there. Man, parking lot off of turn 2. Let's take a look at it here. Zachary Lima took a huge hit into the outside wall. Now, he saved one of these earlier, but this is going to be one of those ones where it's kind of like just a slight bit of hesitation is going to cost you everything here. Let's go back to Zachary Lima right here. See just where it all goes wrong for him. Now looking, I want to get back a little bit further here. David Sheets, he saw a perfect angle of it. But watch from, try to get a better shot of it here. Zachary Lima was in it, and it doesn't look like, there he is, currently finds himself in the pits, of course, but watch in slow motion here. He kind of makes a little bit start, looks like he's thinking about going low, so Merck says, all right, I'll go ahead and jump high, and then, ooh, looks like Merck maybe kind of comes back down, at least from that angle. And once he gets in the wall, a lot of these other guys are going to pile in to have nowhere to go. Looks like Richard Elliott was in it, Daniel Eberhardt as well. There's the 04 of Brian Watson. Took quite a few guys out. Now watch, let's see if we can get from the chopper view here. All right, here we go. So Merck's going to jump high right here, and it's no harm, no foul. I like the move. But does he think twice, or does Lima go up? No, it looks like Merck comes back down. Yep, sure enough. Just hooks the 4 into the outside wall. Tough break for Zachary Lima. And a couple guys. Man, did Joshua Watson find a way to sneak through that? It looked to me like he was right in the middle of it. And somehow it looks like he came out the other side unscathed. He's right on board with them through this. And was he right behind? He was about 4 rows back. A little bit of contact with his teammate. Does hook his teammate, but he was able to steer through the rest of it. I don't think his damage is going to be too bad. As it looks like Mago and Medium Icy rooting on Zach Range to make his way back to the front. iPacing says up front ain't too safe, is it? Now, ironically enough, sometimes it is, and apparently sometimes it isn't. It has not proven to be so far here tonight. Definitely not in that case right there, but that was just kind of a racing incident. Of course, we know in the sense Jeff Merck didn't mean to do it, but either way, he did hook Zachary Lima, so he may, I'm not sure if he'll get an EOL or not, but as everybody works their way back onto the track, here's a look at Richard Elliott. Got a newer paint scheme on that truck. He is another one of the drivers that is carrying an onboard cam here tonight. And like I said, he's got the beautiful Ghost Racing Network paint scheme, so of course we're going to have to make a stop on the O2 truck. Beautiful purple and green. We appreciate you always carrying us on the hood, Richard. But going back, let's go look at your top 5 as it stands right now. And looks like Bobby Forbes, who again started that in the lead. I just noticed him on the data here. He's only fallen back to 8th, so that strategy, whatever it was, it may be working out pretty well. However, Kevin Freeze is your current leader. Garrett Maines in 2nd, John Ellis Jr. in 3rd, Matt Lee 4th. Bobby Forbes actually looks like he's going to be starting 4th, at least as it stands as of now. Matt Lee 5th. Dawson Wise 6th, John Mullihan 7th, Steve Korsak 8th after that wreck. And I thought he got a little worse. Not sure if he did have to use fast or not. Zach Range, you wanted the comeback, you got the comeback. He is up 35 from where he started. Don't forget, he was in the wreck just before this last caution. He sits in 9th. And Danny Escherman currently rounding out your top 10. Well, I'll tell you what. Baker, what do you think here? What are these guys? How's the fuel window looking? And it looks like he is currently tending to his race control duties, so we will leave him alone. And in fact, if I had to guess the fuel window, if you pit right now, looking like we are going to have... You're still going to have to pit at least one more time, assuming that we were to go green the rest of the way, although I just don't know if I see that happening with the way the race has gone for the most part here tonight. There's Zachary Lima. He's going to barely beat the pace car out. We're going to go green with just under 40 to go, so it should be... It's going to be borderline one stop. If we get another caution, it will definitely be a one stop. But it's still going to be pretty close in that sense. Some of the guys that still have quite a bit of work, keep an eye on them though. Austin Moore going to be starting in 17th, just ahead of him. Dalton Powell and Tanner Kassinger. Go back here to the mid-20s. The team that we have not got to talk too much about tonight has been McCall Motorsports. We've seen a couple of them up front. We saw David Sheets a couple times. We saw Ron Morris Jr. But some of the heavy hitters in money racing in general, such as Ken McCall Jr., John Ward, we haven't really seen him too much at the front. Still a pretty good ways to go. They might be playing the safe strategy. I know sometimes when we have these big fields, a lot of guys like to do that. McCall Motorsports sometimes being one of those. John Ellis Jr., who's going to be starting 4th. He's carrying one of our onboard cams here tonight as well. And there he is. And I'll tell you what, he is probably the most mellow average guy that you can talk to in here. Him and Dylan Jones, when it comes to whether they just won the race, got wrecked out, got intentionally wrecked, it doesn't matter. They always sound the exact same. But John Ellis Jr. is a heck of a racer. Almost had a shot at going for the PGR Triple Truck Challenge. $150 bonus to a driver that wins 3 PGR races in a row. But he's not thinking about that right now. All that's on his mind is the money that's on the line at the end of this race. $750 to win. Still huge payouts to 2nd all the way on back to 10th. So by no means, if you don't finish 1st or you had a loss, you still could win a ton of money. But about the field size that we got for it, again, we had some trouble getting the event going here tonight. But nonetheless, we appreciate all the drivers coming out. Appreciate everybody coming to watch. I hope you enjoy. I've still been up here trying to get things together in the broadcast booth. It's been a rough one since the delay, but a couple things different. The tower on your left, a little bit different than what we normally run. Let me know how you guys like it. If you like it more or less than the normal transparent one. Either way, Kevin Freeze back in the get-go restart zone, and the green flag is back in the air. 37 of 75 laps complete here at Talladega. Down into turn 1. Kevin Freeze has got the lead on the inside. How about the outside again, though? Bobby Forbes, what can he make happen? He's getting a push from John Ellis Jr., but Garrett Maines, he's going to have a chance to jump to the top. I don't know if he does, though. Does he stick with his teammate here? Do they try to split, maybe clog up the lanes? Now, if Matt Lee gets clear, knowing that he has 2 opposing teammates right in front of him, I think maybe he thinks about jumping high, but he doesn't. He's going to go ahead and stick to the inside, and as they work their way into turn 3, he's not going to have a chance at it now. Restarts. They've been very troublesome for probably 12th on back here tonight. You can see the field continues to get more and more split up on them. As we go back here, we got a couple rows of trucks on the outside. Then some more separation. We got another pack of trucks, more separation, and then some scragglers, I guess, if you want to call them. Jeff Merck and Heath Joe back here. All of these guys are trying to chase down that lead pack. And a lot of them don't have damage, but all this does is amplify how important it is to make sure you get track position in a race like this tonight, because even if you have a clean truck, even if you have all the fuel in the world, if you start middle to the back of the pack with what we've seen tonight and the restart is not a good restart, you could be losing the pack. And if you lose the pack, it doesn't matter how much fuel you have. It doesn't matter how good your truck is. You're not going to have a chance to go to the front. McCall Motorsports must have heard me talking about it, because they're going to try to make a charge now to the front, being led by Danny Escherman, Ken McCall Jr., Christopher McCall. They were all jumping out. They're going to tuck back in line now behind Steve Korsek and Dawson Wise. Meanwhile, on the bottom, John Mullihan sits 3rd. He's got the 43 of Zach Range, who made a heck of a comeback here tonight. Still sitting 2x2, but a little 3 wide further back, Sebastian Marin. No surprise to see him going back to the front with his teammate Gabe Butler. Remember, the more progress these guys make, the more enticing it is to get more drivers to jump out as well. Michael Triscaro on the inside after being involved in that first wreck. He sits about 6 trucks back. 35 laps to go when we cross the line next time at Talladega. Still standing 2x2, but now Kevin Freeze is going to jump up top with his teammate Garrett Maines. That puts the Maines boys 1, 2, 3 on the outside. NBG Motorsports leading the inside, but here comes Gabe Butler for Dale Cup up top. Cody Nagel sitting with them as well, as it looks like Joshua Olszewski in the chat with the $5 super chat says, appreciate everything you do. Super chats, they always mean a lot. Glad you're out here watching, Josh, but that one means a little bit more tonight because it has been chaotic, and I feel bad up here in the booth, hoping everybody's not too mad at me. Nothing that I can help. Just sitting here broadcasting it, trying to give you guys the best we can, but I certainly hope you've enjoyed it so far. Steve Korsek jumping up to the top. Danny Escherman is going to have to push him, and that is going to make Ken McCall Jr. go ahead and jump right back to the bottom. Christopher McCall and company is going to follow 3x3, and the pack is starting to tighten back up. Everybody that fell back is starting to catch back up. That 3rd lane, we've seen it working its way to the front, but it's a little bit slower this time around than what we've seen. Again, track temp being so hot is the reason that 3rd lane is working so well. It's right on board.
Just doesn't look like they can get the momentum off the 3rd lane. You see a little bit of turn down to the tri-oval. They're trying to get back up and save it. Contact, you got a little bit of 4 wide, 5 wide. They get it all sorted out. One's on the apron. They get it all sorted out. I don't know how. Garrett Main's still leading up front here.
And the middle of the pack is still a mess. Everybody's trying to get things sorted out. 3 wide, but it doesn't look very nice. They're catching a lap truck here. This is always gets a little dicey. Looks like they're 2x2. 3 wide further back, and if the lap truck doesn't pull off, which they're not, they don't have to, but it makes things a little sketchy here. That's the 78 machine, and they are going to go 3, maybe a little 4 wide the further back we go. No, they all figure it back out. And they're still working their way around. It got really sketchy back here when guys were 3 and 4 wide, but yep, they're going to make it all work. Heading back up to the front, though, Garrett Maines still leading the outside with his teammate John Ellis Jr., Kevin Freeze on the bottom with Matt Lee. Here comes Sean Hill now. He's going to try his luck at the top, and we're going to go 4 wide here, Baker. Ken McCall Jr., Christopher McCall in the middle, Sean Hill up top. Steve's going to leave him out to dry.
Crazy racing through the mid-pack here, trying to get back up to the front and get that momentum going. You see 3x3, Garrett giving that great push to Lee. You've got Kevin getting trained on the bottom. John Mullihan not tucked up. They just don't have the support on the bottom. You really have to have these trucks lined up to have any type of run.
And Kevin's still struggling to get that bottom line going. At this point, if you're Mullihan, you're going to have to just push him pretty much around the entire track, get any progress. But don't forget, the temps get hotter, and I think it's usually the further down you are. In this case, if you're on the bottom or middle, it's going to be harder to keep those temps cool than the outside line. If you're Christopher McCall, and you get a little hot push your teammate, just dip the right side out a little bit, cool the oil temps down. But 44 coming to what's going to be 31. We're almost in that 30 lap range, Baker. 60 truck field, I think lap 25 at the latest. If you're trying to get to the front, you got to start going lap 25 at the absolute, 25 to go that is, at the absolute latest, or you're just going to run out of time.
Absolutely. You want to get around that time that you can make it off of fuel. So getting up there with, like you said, 25 to go, maybe even 30 to go, as we're about to be coming to 30 to go here in 2 laps. That's why you're seeing 3 by 3. I mean, almost 15 rows deep right now. Everyone's shuffling to try and get that real estate to get up front.
And some of those guys that had gotten sent to the back from that breakup on the restart were some of the heavy hitters and some of the really aggressive drivers. So they have all been trying to get back up to the front as soon as possible. Cody Nagels has not been making too much noise here tonight. We know he's going to be fast, especially at the end, but right now he's just fighting for the track position, the thing that's been so hard and so elusive for all these guys here tonight. And he's got some damage on the left side as well. That is not helping his case. But he does have Dylan Jones behind him, J.R. Miller to his inside. We'll see what he can sort out 3 wide, and I'm seeing a lot of fishtailing going on now, Baker.
Yeah, everyone's starting to really feel the tires. I don't know how many people have taken tires on these stops. It didn't look like it. So they're really going to start feeling this track temp start to kick in with this new draft package. As you see, Garrett Maines leading that middle line. Matt Lee drops down to the bottom, giving that fresh temps to Garrett. They were trying to get the push on the outside line. They just can't get lined up like they were before earlier in the race. I don't know if the track temp is rising or what's going on. Maybe the rubber's just getting laid down towards the middle and bottom grooves, and they're really able to dig.
Yeah, I cannot recall the last time I saw the track temp over 130 degrees. That is absolutely smoking. But everybody's been doing a nice job. I mean, you figure we see sometimes these guys will struggle on cooler temps, on the track temp that is, but on a hotter track, I would have expected a lot more wrecks by now, but so far, so good for the most part. When they've been racing, they've been staying 3 wide for usually about 10 to 15 lap increments. And that's what we're seeing right here as Matt Lee, he finds his way back up to the middle. Garrett Maines behind him, and what I always like about these super speedway races is as good as anybody is. Take Garrett Maines, for example. He can get to the front, he can lead a line, but with this new package, you can only lead that line for so long before another lane finds a way to shuffle you out. We're wrecking in the back. This is going to bring out the caution. We had 1 around. 2 now. Couple more. That's Logan York. Gets it spun back around in the right direction. Down the short chute to the tri-oval. At a turn 4. 5th caution of the night. Flies on lap 47. Well over halfway. And this is not quite. Let's see. Yeah, no, this is still not going to put us in the fuel window yet. So these guys would still have to pit at least one more time, even if they do pit now. Let's go back and take a look at this yellow here. Does he get some contact here?
Looks like the 58 gets down into turns Watson down into the inside lane, gets into Logan York back up the track.
Yep, sure enough, the 01 gets a little high. I think he was trying to help him out there. Unfortunately, didn't help him. Hurt him, turn him around. Joshua Watson, tough break. He was showing a lot of stuff here tonight at the beginning. Got caught a little bit further towards the back, and this is what you always worry about once you get trapped towards the back of the field is somebody making a mistake, and in this case, the 58 just trying to help him out, but causes a wreck and gives all 3 of those trucks damage. Luckily, everybody else is able to miss it. Oh, except for Brian Watson. I think if you're Logan York right there, take another view on the cockpit. It looked like maybe we got to do a little bit better of a job holding the brakes here. Yeah, sure enough, as it looks like from that view, at least he just kind of lets it roll. Couldn't tell though. Again, sometimes it's hard. You think you're one way, you might be another. It gets a little disorienting once in a while as a driver. Let's take a ride on board with Logan through it, as he was trying to sneak around the inside, but he was the victim and sees the 58 nose to nose. Might have been trying to get that thing turned around in the right direction, get it back rolling quick, but just could not do it. Instead causes himself a little bit more damage. I don't know that that's going to be a fast repair though. I think he might get away with just repairing that manually and coming back out, saving that fast repair for a later date, assuming he still has one. But up front, Tanner Kissinger, and it might be Tanner Kissinger, so I apologize if I might be saying it wrong. If there's any Tanner fans out in the chat, let me know if I am saying it wrong. Do apologize, but good to see Tanner out here. One of the new guys. Matt Lee, not one of the new guys, one of the veterans. He's going to be sitting second. Kevin Freese has been having a phenomenal night so far. I know we give him the broadcaster's curse probably by saying so, but he has been up inside the top 10 and top 5, I think, for every single lap that we've ran. Garrett remains in 4th. John Ellis Jr. 5th. John Mullahan 6th. There's Dawson Wise 7th. Zach Range. Sometimes this is what it takes. A lot of guys at his position, when they had that heavy damage, had to use their only fast pair, they would have probably just dropped to the back and played the safe game for a little while. But not Zach. He stayed aggressive, worked his way back to the front, and it's paying off as he finds himself up 36 from where he started, up in 8th spot. Jason Maines in 9th. Sean Hill rounding out your top 10. So McCall Motorsports driver in 11th and 12th. John Ward and Ken McCall Jr. Steve Korsek 13th. Christopher McCall 14th. Danny Eshelman in 15th. Cody Dangles 16th. Dylan Jones 17th. Gabe Butler 18th. Devin Ray 19th. And Sebastian Marin in 20th. And, of course, Devin Ray got his entry. Well, he had paid for an entry technically, but he did win the raffle ticket, so he got it for a bit cheaper. Good stuff out here tonight. Looks like Baker's mom says, did Matt get with you to announce? Joshua Holmes says, I think the guys who are pitting should put on fresh tires. And Courtney, and again, correct me if I'm wrong here, Courtney, is it Kissinger or Kissinger? I'm thinking now maybe it's Kissinger? That's what I'd said initially. I hope I'm right. I do apologize if I'm not, though. Baker, you still here?
Yep, I'm still here. Just looking at the pit roads here. Making sure no one's doing any violations. We had someone speeding the last time, didn't voice up, so we had to give him an EOL.
Of course, we talked about Baker doubling as race control this week. And in future weeks, again, you know, I guess I should say the first day to do it was probably a little bit different, that it had to be a 60 truck field. We're used to seeing big fields, but it's just always something different when you have a big event. Either way, Baker's been doing a good job tonight, getting things all sorted out, keeping everybody in the game, and making sure that we are going to get to finish this race. And how about it? 60 viewers tonight. Let's go. Good stuff. And if you're out here watching, even if you like what you see, we appreciate it if you subscribe. But if nothing else, leave us a live chat here. Leave us a like, something that lets us know that you're not just a robot and you're out here watching and hopefully enjoying. Joshua Olszewski had the $5 super chat donation a little bit earlier. And it looks like Courtney says K-Singer? K-Singer? K-Singer. All right, K-Singer. Hopefully I said it right that way. Medium Icy says, my boy Range better get a podium. He's been killing it all race. Now, the first PGR event, we talked about that. We'll talk about the payouts again if you missed them earlier in a little bit. But it's been a really good race. I got to be honest, compared to what we saw the last couple of weeks, this has actually been better than that, in my opinion, for what we've seen so far. I'm not sure if it's the fact that the race is longer or if guys are so worried about the money that's on the line that they're trying to be extra conservative right now. Nobody wants to put themselves in a bad position, but you know, the first big event, we're going to see some more in the future. Things are going to get better, but one of those things where it seems like a night where nothing has went these guys' way in terms of race control. They got it to finally go their way. And now all the drivers out here having a great night. Garrett Maines sits in second on the outside. We had heard from him and Sierra in the pre-race. Unfortunately, we had to delete that broadcast as we had to switch over to this one. But nonetheless, 49, going to be 50 laps completed when we cross the line for the restart this time. And next lap, that will put us in that 25 lap to go margin. And you know, when we hit 10 laps to go, Baker, all hell is going to break loose. Pace car is going to pull off. Field rolling through the tribal up to the Geico restart zone. 5 cautions so far here tonight. Will we have another one? We could potentially have another pit stop, but we're going to have to go green for a little while to make it happen, and the green flag is indeed back in the air. Matt Lee gets off to a good jump. Does he drop low? And he does. He's going to get right in front of Tanner. Garrett Maines giving a good push to Matt Lee. I take that back. I thought Lee was going to drop low. He stayed up. The 18 gets a bump from Kevin Freese, who's trying to get back attached, but both lanes really disorganized looking right now. Everybody's trying to get it back together, and the reason because of that is because caution's back out. Let's take a look. It's going to be in the back of the pack somewhere. I'll tell you what, the hardest part about these cautions sometimes is not being able to figure out exactly what they're for. It looks like Troy Wilson, Charles Arbor. Oh, this is in the back. These guys didn't even make to the start-finish line yet during this wreck. And man, what in the world? Here we go. Let's start with Charles. I think these are the guys that are going to arrive late on the scene. And I couldn't quite see it from that view. Let's back this up. So this might have been, was this a couple different wrecks? No, so these guys are catching up to the pack. And, oh, in front there is going to be a big checkup. Look like J.R. Miller, Logan York. Well, those guys have been checking up. In fact, we'll show you from here. I'm not sure if any of them had gotten spun out or just separated. Ooh, no, somebody is going to get spun out. Man, what a mess up here. We had quite a few guys get involved in this. Look up front here. The outside line just stacks up big time. Mark Vondell checks up, and they can't all check up behind him. The 49 gets contact. He goes up the track, hits a truck, goes down the track, hits a truck, and then we had a couple more out of the back that spin due to the checkups. That's just an odd looking, that's the second restart wreck that we've actually had tonight. We had one to start this thing off. And the more trucks you put in the field, the bigger the checkups are going to be. But the guys, I think they have the advantage to jump to the outside line if there's a checkup like that. Sometimes instead they just run into the back. Joshua Olszewski says, while we're talking pronunciation, it's Olszewski. Well, that's what I just said. Now, of course, I'm just kidding. I read it before I said anything, but thank you for letting us know, Josh. We always appreciate when you guys tell us. We don't like to get people's names wrong, but sometimes it is a little hard, and the only way we're going to learn it is if you pronounce it. Joshua is, of course, one of the Clutch Gaming Team drivers. Ryan Baste is out here tonight, and I believe Ryan might be holding down the fort by himself. Don't think he's got any of the teammates. I didn't see William Fox. Or if I did, I must have been missing him here in recent times looking for him. Ryan Baste, though, doing pretty good. He's up 12 from where he started right now. Finds himself in 24th position. And in a race where top 10 pays out, I think you just got to probably find yourself, I would say, anywhere inside the top 25, actually. I think that's about a good number to have a good shot at it. I think if you start to get outside the top 30, it starts to look a lot more unrealistic. But looking as we go down the field here, we still have a good amount of trucks on the lead lap, but each caution we start to put a few more lap down. In fact, it looks like right now we might have more towards 50, maybe a couple more still on the lead lap. Talking about those payouts again from earlier, though, for anybody that missed them, they were big, big payouts. So here's what we're going to do. Go ahead and bring them up. First place, this was the attractor. Me, Baker, and Michael Trasquero, we all agreed we'd split it 3 ways. $250 each to guarantee a $750 pot to these guys. And it seems like it paid off. We got the 60 drivers, sold out field. Worked out good for there. And then, of course, nobody's out here to really make a ton of money. So we put, and actually I think it is 100% payout because I think broadcast fees and race control fees came from donations. Either way, reading the payouts, how they were tonight after everything was all said and done. First place, $750, $400 to second. Can't be disappointed with that. Third and fourth, $300 to $200. Can't be upset with that either. Fifth place, $150, and then 6th through 10th, going to be going home with $65. So again, it's really a win-win situation. 10th on up because you're going to double your money, just about at least. We'll have to see. Baker, you there?
I am here.
I was going to ask you, we're in that crunch time window. I think, what do you think here? Going to see a little bit of 4 wide?
I don't know. I mean, we just saw in that last run that the third lane, well, not the last run, but after the 2 quick cautions, that the third lane just really couldn't get formed up. So I'd like to see it get formed back up, but it just looks like the rubber laid down enough. We have so many trucks on track, and we've done 50 laps that the rubber, you can kind of see it on the bottom line. You see it's a lot darker on the bottom and middle line. They've got a lot of grip there, and I think they're going to just try and stick to where that rubber's laid down and stay in those middle and bottom lines. Because as you saw, the bottom line really prevailed there on that last restart.
Did it change from what we first saw? What hasn't changed is track temp still very toasty, as it looks like it's actually midday. They probably explain part of the super hot temps. Want to go signal here. Quick reminder that if you're interested in joining into the PGR races, every Thursday, $19 entry fee, always 100% payouts, and always broadcasted here on Ghost Racing Network. Well, you know what? The one thing, again, I've been in shambles here tonight, that we normally do, that we haven't done, is we haven't done many interviews. Now, we do have a request here that says, let's get Range on the radio. And we certainly can here if we can find him. Let's see if he's in the Discord here to start. See if we can bring him up here real quick before we get back going. He may not be in here. And it looks like, yeah, I'm not seeing Range. I'm not seeing Zach in any of the Discords right now, and so in that case, we would not be able to get an interview from him. But I am expecting probably, you know, just to keep it realistic, another 3 or 4 cautions before this race is all said and done, so we will be getting some interviews then. Garrett Maines, Matt Lee going to be making up row 1. Tanner Kasinger, please tell me, I believe that was right. Tanner Kasinger, yep, sure enough. He's going to be sitting in 3rd position. Kevin Freese 4th. John Ellis Jr. 5th. John Mullahan, and there's Zach Range going to be making up. Well, actually, Mullahan's 6th. Zach Range and Dawson Wise going to be making up row 4. Sean Hill in 9th, and Jason Maines rounding out your top 10.
I'm looking for a crazy last 20 laps here. The racing's been spectacular up front. You know, we've had just the one wreck really up front. Everyone's able to really hang on to it whenever they get loose, but nice to see, you know, the front 2025 really running well as the pace car is going to pull down here. Garrett Maines is going to lead them to the green flag.
22 laps to go is going to be the count when we cross the line into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air at Talladega. This is Mullahan's first chance on the outside line. Dawson Wise, you got to wonder, would he go with Mullahan if he decided to go? You know, Jason Maines is going to stick with his teammates, and then he would have a teammate, Christopher McCall, behind him, John Mullahan, that is, and Christopher McCall, even if Dawson doesn't go. But Dale Cup, Baker, they got a lot of ground to still make up with not a lot of time. How quick can these guys get 3 wide?
I mean, they can get 3 wide as fast as can. You already see Steve moving up to the top. You're going to see another truck jump out. It looks like Jason Maines as well, trying to get to the front here. You know, you got the usual suspects up front. We had a lot of new entries, but we're always seeing the same names here.
And the bottom line, just like you call it, already rolling. But Garrett, he wants to go at the top here. He feels he's got a good pusher in Matt Lee. There goes Dawson Wise. He's going to jump to the top. Further to the back, gets a push from Jason Maines. You got to get the track position now. If we start getting late cautions, trust me when I say you do not want to be at the back of this pack. Now, fuel. That's where it gets a little interesting because they're still not in the window to make it all the way from here. If we were to somehow stay green the rest of the way, these guys would have to pit one more time. And when you decide to do that pit stop, that could be an interesting strategy. Baker, you know, I know normally with this new package...
Oh, we got a wreck out back.
And a wreck out back here as we scroll to it. Caution's out. There it is. A couple guys down on the apron here. Trying to figure out who it was. Looks like it's going to be John Darnell. Oh, man. It's a shame for John carrying part of the ghost scheme tonight. And then, of course, one of our onboard cam drivers. He had been having a pretty good run up to this point. Let's take a look back at what's going to happen here. As you see him, he'll stay in the bottom right of your screen there. But let's see. This is after the wreck, and he just makes contact. So the wreck's going to start with the 88 of Heath Job, it looks like.
It looks like David Duke and Mark Vondell get together. David Duke goes down to the, try to get to the inside line. Mark Vondell's just there.
And backing it up here, we'll take a look from the chopper view. Let's see. Yeah, sure enough. Pretty plain and simple, not much more to it. 78, maybe thought he was clear, tried to slide in line. Mark Vondell says, no thank you, that door is still open. And he gets T-boned pretty hard by Heath Job, and then there's John Darnell. Nowhere to go for him. That was the 56. It might have snuck by up top, and then a couple more guys are going to sneak through this as well. Take a look from one more angle at it here. This was after they started wrecking. Yeah, John got that damage in the worst spot too. Darnell, that is, who piled in. He didn't pile in that fast. But man, I'll tell you what, any damage on the front is always the worst place to get it. You almost think as a driver, if you see a wreck like that, find a way to spin it out and pack it into the wall, but didn't have an option there. And the 78 probably got the worst of it there in this case. That is David Duke. Back live though up front, now at 20 to go. So now Baker, now I think we are in that fuel window, but everybody's gonna have to probably either top off or save really hard here under these caution laps if they want to make it.
I think they'll be fine. I don't know. It's close. 19.6 is pretty close, but I think we're all going to pit here and be fine.
And I wonder if we would have saw a green flag pit stop. Things would have been messy. If you 60-car field, we would have had some big groups pitting together. Sometimes that doesn't work well, but it does look like Garrett Maines is going to win the race out of pit road. However, Rhett Tucker is being scored as the leader. Andrew McGonigal being scored second. We'll have to see how those three all pan out. What I do want to do here, though, is get an interview from one of the guys that we haven't talked to yet today, but has been doing pretty good, Matt Lee. Let's see if we can bring him up here. All right. Hey, Matt, this is Austin and Baker up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
All right. Well, you've been having a pretty good night. Things have been chaotic. The race got started late. But anyway, here we are. And you find yourself in very good position here to have a shot at the money. What are you willing to, well, maybe I should put it the other way. What's it going to take here to bring home the biggest payday here in PGR Series history, $750?
Yeah, it's really just trying to stay up front right now. Really don't have any teammates up here. I got Garrett and Kevin and them guys have been working with me a little bit, just trying to keep each other up here. I'm in a tough spot.
Certainly, but the track temp, that's been another factor here tonight. It has been very hot. We've seen a lot of slipping and sliding. Is that going to play a role here in which lane is favorable? And if it is, which lane do you think is going to be the most favorable here?
I really don't know that there's a lane that's really preferable as much as just making sure you don't get yourself buried.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for giving us a quick word. You've been doing good all night. We'll see if you can continue that trend for the rest of the way and maybe have a shot at going for the win here at the end of this thing.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Austin.
All right. Matt Lee for NBG Motorsports going to take him back up to his teammates. And NBG Motorsports, well, they've proven to be strong, man. These super speedways, they do not play around. The Mains boys, one of the big teams, NBG, another one, Dale Cup making their return tonight, McCall Motorsports. So not only was it a great race individually, but we also had quite a bit of teams here tonight, Baker, and you got to feel like there's a little bragging rights involved.
Yeah, definitely some bragging rights involved, and I don't know if we mentioned it in the beginning of the broadcast, but we are going to have a bracket challenge. Top 16 drivers that we have currently ranked in super speedway racing for PGR, based off of their finishes, podium finishes, and wins. And it's none other than basically McCullough Motorsports, PGR, NBG, and the Mains boys.
And it looks like Mr. Jeff Ford has hopped in the chat. Good to see you out here, Jeff. Jeff, of course, has money races usually every Wednesday and Friday, but the man skipped out, missed us this Wednesday, so we're going to have to wait till Friday to get some more. And that kind of reminds me, next place Ghost Racing Network heads is going to be this Saturday to the NOMA Truck Series for the Daytona season opener. 100 laps. Don't miss out. I will be a lot less in shambles for that one than I was here tonight. But hey, I feel like we've done a pretty good job recovering. Baker, all things considering, the racing has really helped us recover in the sense of we have seen a couple weeks where it has been an absolute wreck fest, but that has not been the case tonight. 7 cautions for 75 laps at a track like Talladega with this much money on the line so far is nothing to be ashamed of. And for the most part, they haven't been too many back-to-back cautions. A couple right here, but overall, when these guys get to racing, give them a couple laps, they get 3 wide and they get right down to business, and it's been fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're right down to crunch time, and it's going to be 3 or 4 wide. We talked about 4 wide before the pit stops. Now the pit stops have happened, so it is going to get wild.
Yeah, everybody that was maybe banking on that pit stop to separate the field, forget about it. This caution puts them all back together. If you got a faster pair, just start getting to the front now before things fill up. We got 52 trucks on the lead lap. We got almost $2,000 to give away, and we have got a crown that, well, not a physical crown, but we are going to crown someone the winner of the SummerSlam 75. Back into the restart zone, 17 laps to go. Green flag is back in the air for Garrett Maines and Matt Lee.
Even start top and bottom. Garrett Maines going to have a good shove to the back bumper. Trying to look 3 wide quickly. Looks like through one, the third car in line may peek out to the outside, but Jason Maines is behind him, so I don't see that really happening. Everyone's going to stay stacked up even. We're wrecking and down in one car down to the infield. He's going to slide back up the track, get contact, doesn't hold on to the brakes. Only 2 cars involved.
And going back trying to find that wreck, looks like it was Christopher Hall. Now the yellow flag is out. Man. And I'm hoping now I didn't give it the announcer's curse talking about the green flag runs we were having. Let's take a look. And getting back into turn 1, this is what unfortunately you start to run into sometimes in these money races with this many trucks as guys in the back start to get a little bit desperate. Not sure if that's what happened here or not. Let's take a look and watch Christopher Hall here. Looks like, I believe this is him sitting in he's a 28 truck, sitting in the middle of your screen. And yeah, it looks like he just comes down, not clear. Comes across the 46 truck, nothing Cole Fitzpatrick could do, and then you can't do that. I mean, as a driver right there, that's an avoided wreck, avoided damage, and an avoided caution if you hold the brakes. It looks like he did, but it was just too late when he did here. It just made matters worse. Unfortunately, he caused more damage for himself, and Daniel Eberhard as well here. Watch this. Daniel Eberhard's hoping that he's going to stay low. Looks like he is going to stay low, and then just lets it roll right back up and into harm's way. It's a big shot for Daniel Eberhard as well. That's probably going to be a fast pair for the 90 truck. And I'm thinking he's probably not too happy, Baker.
Yeah, it looks like it's the end of the day for Danny Eberhard. Disconnected after that wreck. Unfortunate, but you know, it's just the way it goes sometimes. Some people are trying to hold the brakes and they kind of freak out whenever they get turned backwards. But you know, we always teach, you know, hold the wheel left or right, lock the brakes down.
And Eberhard showed there, I guess the word would be for it, you know how like some of the best guys have the thing where they make that decision, they make it in the split second, and he did. He committed, he turned it his hard left as soon as he saw that truck was stopping in the middle, just too fast to be able to get down low enough, quick enough. So that is going to take him out of contention. Garrett Maines leading the way, up 10 from where he had started. No surprise though. It's just funny. It seems like bad luck or not, he always finds his way to the front. That's just how good he is. And he's not one of those guys, though, where he's so good that you don't want him to win. Everybody here pretty much likes Garrett for the most part, roots him on. Everybody likes to beat him, but they always seem to struggle to do so. We'll see if he can win one of the big races here tonight. Kevin Freese in second. Actually, looks like Matt Lee's going to be leading the way here. Garrett Maines is second. Kevin Freese third. So they still sorted out for the front. Jason Maines fourth. John Ellis Jr. running at your top five. Dawson Wise in sixth. John Mullihan seventh. Dylan Jones eighth. It's going to be Sean Hill in ninth. Sebastian Marin in 10th. And this is going to put us, I wouldn't be surprised, especially if you're in the back half of the field here. Now, this is where, depending on how this thing goes the rest of the way, we could see a little bit of strategy play. I think if you were in the back half of the field there, you come down, you top off on fuel, and then let's say we go green all the way until the last couple laps. We get ourselves an overtime, and then we have a couple overtimes. Maybe some of these front guys run out of fuel, but if you're anywhere inside the top, I'd say 25 right now, and when that caution came out, you're shutting it down, saving fuel, and you are not planning on taking a pit stop from here on out. And with 15 laps to go, we should get the one to go signal next time, but either way, we are going to take a quick side-by-side break. Stick with us here on Ghost Racing Network. We'll be right back. Front, now we're going to see a little four-wide action.
Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets in the lead on the wreck.
3x3 entering four.
3-2.
At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning at Talladega.
Back live at Talladega Superspeedway for the PGR SummerSlam 75. We thank you for tuning in here on Ghost Racing Network. It's now 12:30 on a Friday morning, but we are still going to be crowning a winner here tonight. Just had a little bit of a rain delay earlier. You know how it goes. Sam Esposito letting me and everybody else know. Ryan Baste rooting on the driver that's holding down the fort tonight for Clutch Gaming Team. Baste had been having a decent night last time we checked. He was running towards the middle of the field, 20th spot. Since then, it looks like he has faded back a bit. Now finds himself in 39th. And we are going to be going back green this time now. Garrett Main's going to have the field at his command. And we did get word that Cody Nagels had a technical issue here and his screen may have locked up. That's a tough break for not only NBG, but if anybody else had gotten collected in that incident. Cody has made his way back up now, but he does have some front end damage, it looks like. So 13 laps to go. And at this point, track position, you got to fight and claw for it. These guys are going to be 3 wide probably before we can finish up the last lap. But here we go. Green flag is back in the air. Drag race down into turn 1 is led by Garrett Maines. Neither of the guys on the second row to the back bumpers. Now they're going to get there. Dawson Wise gets a little shaky there. Gets it settled back down, gets tucked back in line. The rest of the field in tow. All trying to sort it out back. We got 2, 3 wide, and now we got a caution back out. Not sure exactly what this one was for. I'd assume it's something towards the back. And I still do not see who exactly it was. So we'll have to take a look. 9th caution of the night, it looks like. Yeah, guys up front right now probably getting a little frustrated saying, man, can we get going a little bit here? Here we go. And let's take a look from the blimp cam. I'm not seeing anything in the front pack. Yeah, everything looked good there. Gotta wonder if this was... an intentionally thrown caution by the admins, maybe? Not sure exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely a check up towards the back on the restart. 58 checks up, 94, or the 04 gets into him. Looks like the 58 locked up the brakes, and then just everyone just slammed in.
Looking for the 58 truck right now. Yeah, that's Troy Wilson. So let's take a look on this restart again here. And the 58's getting up to speed. I'm not seeing anything yet. See the fits. Was Baker, were you talking about Troy Wilson? 58 truck?
If you go back to the 04, Christopher McCullough on the restart, the car in front of him locks up and they all crash in front.
Must not have saw this then. What am I missing here? See if we can...
Troy Wilson, yes.
And if that was on this restart, I'm not seeing it here for some reason on our replays. We'll take one more look at it here. We may just not have it, but looking at Troy Wilson, from whatever we can see on the replay here, he had no one around him at the time. Looks like he was just working his way through the tri-oval when the caution flew. Unless, was this even... Oh, okay, all right, so this makes sense now. We see it. This was way before I thought it was, because caution came out really late. That would make a little bit more sense then. And here's going to be the checkup that Baker's talking about on the outside. This is going to be the 3rd checkup wreck. Yeah, somebody just does not go. Like they stopped, and that just stacked up the field. They weren't even to the restart zone yet. And then there's the 10 truck. Involved Dustin Carruthers, nowhere to go, so... Another tough break and a silly mistake from somebody throughout the field. Good news for the Sierra Clampert fan. She's going to get a lap back here. And by this point, got to wonder if maybe she is back on the lead lap by now. We'll have to see here. And looking at it, you see it on your scoring tower there on the left side. Everybody in your top 45 or so is definitely still on the lead lap. Maybe back to your top 50. Yep, sure enough. 48th on up is still on the lead lap. We talked about Sierra getting a lap back right there. So maybe this does put her back on the lead lap. We'll find out here. 11 laps to go. This is going to put us within inside 10 to go. As Sam Esposito has been going ballistic in the chat for Ryan Based. And 55 viewers again. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I know it was an awkward start. I know it's late. Trying to get this thing finished up. Crown a winner, crown a championship, and then everybody can go to bed. Get ready for the Friday final workday of the week. Let's see if we can pull somebody else up for an interview here, Baker. I'm thinking maybe we get a call from, let's see who hasn't. How about Dawson Wise? Sits in fourth spot. Let's see if we can get a word with him. Hey, Dawson, this is Austin and Baker up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Austin, I got you.
All right, well, out here having a pretty good night so far. This is close to the highest running spot. Of course, you've been a couple spots higher than this already tonight, but it's looking like you might be trapped on the inside here. If that's the case, what's the strategy to go up there and go for the big 750?
Man, it's just working with who's around me. I think, not having teammates has been hard all night, but my teammates kind of got caught up in stuff early. But I've got a bunch of guys around me that I trust, that I can run around. And it's been good racing up front. I hope you guys have enjoyed, but it's just going to be making the right moves at the right times and hoping it works. I mean, when you don't have teammates and you can't communicate, you just kind of have to do it and hope it sticks.
Now, we've seen Summer X to the end, and it wouldn't be too shocking if this race were to go into overtime. Now, if it does, we've got 3 overtimes. How's the fuel situation looking? Are we good to go for 3?
I'll tell you what, we are definitely good for 2. I don't know about 3. I think we need one more yellow to go 3. But if we were to get a first green, white, checkered, I think we could all go 3 up front. I don't know about the other guys, but I'm good for 6 or 7 laps past the scheduled distance here.
All right. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, and that is Dawson Wise. We'll see how he can cap this thing off. Maybe with a win. First win of the PGR Series. Garrett Maines, Kevin Freese. No surprise that both of them already have wins in the series. Matt Lee, Jason Maines, they're making up row 2. John Ellis Jr. and John Mullahan, row 3. Dylan Jones, and there he is, the man that we just talked to, Dawson Wise. Actually, looks like Dawson's going to be starting 8th. So I would take that back if that is. No, he's still on the inside, so it just has not shuffled itself out just yet. I believe we've looked at just about everybody on the driver cam at one point or another. The one guy that we haven't shown yet is Michael Triscaro. Things have not quite been going his way tonight, but he's still out here, still fighting. You never know what can happen. He finds himself in 32nd position. Did debut a new paint scheme tonight, of course, in coordination with the new sponsorship deal with Ghost Racing Network. I believe he made the announcement in Discord about it. There might be more announcements about it in person soon. For all we know, we'll have to find out. Michael
Hey, Austin,
Triscaro,
could you drop me back down?
another one of those guys. And yep, sure enough, you hear Dawson there. We accidentally left him in our booth here. Let's go ahead and send you back down here. Sorry about that, Dawson.
He is sent back.
All right. Dawson's going to head back to his team, and we are going to head back to the front row and get ready for another green flag. Baker, take us away.
We're going to get a good even start here for sure. A 10-lap shootout coming to 9 laps to go. You've got the Maines boys leading up front. Everyone in the chat's antsy, ready to go 3 wide, ready to go 4 wide. Green flag's going to come back on the air. Good even start on the bottom. Matt's going to give a good push to Kevin here.
Going to be
down into turn 1. You've got Kevin Freese getting the push from Jason Maines. Jason Maines looks like he wants to get up towards the track and push Kevin Freese in front of Garrett Maines. That's where I'd want to be. I mean, the bottom line is absolutely surging. As you see the middle line start to come back, you don't have the 3 wide yet.
I was just going to say that it's going to be tough if you're Jeff Merck right now without any help. He's going to get some sooner or later, but that's always the mind game, Baker. Who wants to be the first guy to do it? If you have teammates lined up, it's not so much of a game. You know you're going. You know your teammates are going to go with you. But if you don't have any of your teammates with you, you kind of start to second guess it. You say, do I want to go out yet? Do I want to wait till I get a run? Who's going to go with me? And if no one goes with you, man, you're in trouble. You're going to go all the way to the back of the pack. I'm looking for that 77 bright blue of Sean Hill to jump to the outside, but we're seeing 3 wide already behind him, so he's going to have to make that move shortly, or he is going to have some contestants trying to beat him to the punch. That's the 61 truck of Austin Moore. His name has not got brought up a lot tonight, but it's going to be brought up now because he's making progress to the front. Now Danny Esserman and Sean Hill are going to block. They are looking to go to the front. The 3 wide is probably about 10 rows deep once you get to about mid-pack, 5 rows deep. Up front, though, still 2x2, that third lane. They've got a big run, and they're making their way to the front, Baker.
As you see the middle line start to surge, I mean, we talked about that third lane just can't get anything going with this with this temps, and they really can't get any organization to get up there. The middle line's really going to push here. I think the only time you'll see a move up to the middle lane is if there's 2 cars, and then once that happens, you'll see Steve jump out of line, try and get to the front. They're wrecking towards the back.
Yep, sure enough, no caution yet. Still trying to look at it. Still no caution yet. There it is. And it looking for who that was. It might have been Adrian Watts. Let's back it up and take a look. Yeah, sure enough, Adrian Watts is going to be at least one of the guys involved. And his debut in the PGR Series, probably not going to leave the best taste in his mouth, unfortunately. It's not been a great race for him, but a couple of his teammates have been up there. Joshua Watson got some laps led. And it looks like John Darnell may be coming down a little bit at the same time. Adrian Watts may be getting a push coming up a little bit. And they get together, make some contact. They both slide to the outside wall, and then Adrian Watts. Oh, man, that was a close call for a couple guys. My goodness. Getting reports here that Rhett Tucker may have had an issue. Not sure if he was just stopping for the pace car or what, but let's watch this accident again from the chopper cam. Again, from the initial view, it looked like both guys, one of them coming up, one of them coming down a little bit. We see that a lot of times, especially out of turn where these things really unload. And in this case, they just picked a bad time to do it. There's Darnell 3 wide. He's probably looking for a spot back in line, trying to get a little side draft. And, ooh, looks like, yeah, it just looks like it kind of hooks him. One more view here from that chopper cam again. Play it slow for you. Yeah, it's close. It does look like John's maybe coming down a little bit more than Adrian's coming up. But Adrian did start to creep up just a little bit right there. And that's going to, I believe, bring us to our 10th caution of the night. So we're into double digits now. Taking a couple more angles of it here. There's Adrian Watts heading to the pits. Back live. 7 laps to go. Probably going to put us on a restart with about 5 to go. And you can really, this is where everybody starts to get really excited. I mean, I think most of these guys were able to stay calm for most of the race if they weren't involved in any of the chaos. But now, if you're in this, I would say if you're in this top 5 where the payouts are the biggest, this is where you get antsy. The heart rate starts to go up. The nerves start to kick in. You know that you have a shot. You've worked all day at it. And you have a shot at going home with $750,000 here tonight, $750. And if nothing else, if you can finish in that top 5, going home with at least $150. So we will have to see what happens here. Garrett Main's going to be leading the way. Kevin Free second. Matt Lee third. Jason Main's fourth. John Ellis Jr. third. Dawson Wise in sixth. John Ellis Jr. in fifth. Excuse me if I skip somebody. Steve Korsak seventh. Sebastian Marin in eighth. John Mullahan ninth. And Sean Hill going to be rounding out your top 10. I'll tell you what, during this caution, because I know we got a lot of people out there rooting for different guys, we're going to go ahead and continue to go a little bit further down here the line. Actually, we might just go through running order here. We'll have to see. But Dylan Jones, 11th. Tanner Kasinger in 12th. Danny Esterman, 13th. Gabe Butler, 14th. Ken McCall Jr. in 15th. Austin Moore, 16th. Jeff Merck, 17th. Vicente Guerrero, 18th. Zach Range in 19th. John Ward, 20th. Joshua Watson, 21st. Brett Spod, 22nd. Dalton Powell, 23rd. Brian Watson, 24th. Richard Elliott, 25th. Chad Ross, 26th. Devin Ray, 27th. Bobby Forbes in 28th. Michael Triscaro, 29th. J.R. Miller rounding out your top 30. Rhett Tucker, 31st. Mike Davenport, 32nd. Andrew McGonigal, 33rd. Casey Sewetch in 34th. And I believe Casey, I'm pretty sure Casey is one of the streamers out here tonight. Could be wrong. Sure. I'm pretty sure Casey is, though. Go check out Casey. I'm not sure. I think maybe live on Twitch. I could be wrong. Trevor Osbornoth in 35th. Brock Westmoreland in 36th. Ryan Bass, 37th. Logan York, 38th. Ron Morse Jr., 39th. Ryan Haynes in 40th. Cole Fitzpatrick, 41st. 42nd. Danny Barnes, 43rd. Christopher McCall. David Sheets, 44th. John Darnell, 45th. Zachary Lima, 46th. Mark Vondell, 47th. Sarah Clampert, 48th. Bradley Steffen in 49th. Cody Nagels in 50th. Dustin Carruthers, 51st. Troy Wilson, 52nd. Jacob Emery, 53rd. Adrian Watts, Charles Aubert, Heath Job, Daniel Eberhardt, Christopher Hall, David Duke, Michael Menchaca, all off the track. Their nights have come to an end with the damage that they all have assumed. And we got a couple things in the chat here with want to go ahead and check them out. It looks like iPacing says, wait, was John Ward in that one? He was not. At least he shouldn't have been from all the looks that we looked at. Anthony Castos is pretty sure someone was supposed to be the Buki for these yellows for the OU. Oh, overall. Speed Week says 30 laps of cautions. Potentially 10 cautions and 60 track position really matters with only 75 laps. David Overstreet, you are not kidding. By the way, shout out to David. Looking forward to the NSRA series starting up here later. We'll be broadcasting that one on Ghost Racing Network. Make sure you check it out. And Speed Week says, would 2 30-car races be better? So, yeah, that's a tough one, right? Because I feel like the 60-car event, again, you got to remember each week we have, I would say the payouts are smaller, usually $19 entries. And the races are great, and we usually have 50-plus trucks. Last week, I think we had 53. Guys do a great job. Sometimes they're a little bit more messy than others, but in terms of race control, broadcast, everything goes smooth. But the thing that really made this week tough on broadcast, on race control, on drivers, on streamers, on everything was the trouble that we had with the first 2-3 sessions. And then you had guys that weren't supposed to be in here joining in, and it just made it a really chaotic mess. So I don't think the count is necessarily the problem. I think part of the issues that we had, and then of course, I mean, hey, $750 on the line. You kind of expect it. That's why you hope that we don't have a caution and a green flag run from like lap 20 to the finish, because once we get these cautions at the end, they just seem to keep producing. However, 4 laps to go. That means we are going to be 3 laps away from making this race official. Green flag is back in the air at Talladega. And caution is back out. And take a wild guess where this one's going to be. I'm going to say it's in the back of the pack here. Let's see. And there you go. Looks like Casey Sawetch might have been involved in this one. And just, I'm hoping this was not another checkup wreck, because if it was, it would be I think our 4th one in a row, man. And it looks like it's going to be. It's just going to be a mess. Guys getting too antsy on the restart here, it looks like. That's the 56 of Bobby Forbes. Yeah, honestly, that's... Let me make sure that Chad Ross doesn't miss anything here, but it looks like the guys, they just get too antsy and they floor it before anybody actually goes. This is sometimes a product of when there's these little gaps. Yeah, Chad Ross, he has to check up. He's got Richard Elliott in front of him. He can't run him over. Yeah, and when he checks up, he just gets tagged by Bobby Forbes, who, again, I believe maybe just got a little too antsy. Let's back it up and watch from the 56's point of view. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting one. I don't know what to say. I mean, the 56 wasn't on the throttle, but at the same time, I mean, you gotta, maybe that's part of the gaps. I don't really know what to call that one, to be honest. Hard to really call it much of anything, but we'll take a couple more looks from the outside views of it here. And it's going to collect quite a few guys, but they all just, it's like dominoes. They all just pile into each other here. Watches the initial checkup with the 56, and then the 55, Davenport, Casey Sawitch, they're all just piling in. They've got nowhere to go. Logan York, they all go down to the infield, and that collects quite a few. Sierra Clampert was in that one. David Sheets, Cody Nagels. And almost a little bit more damage there for Casey, but it's able to put the brakes on just in time. Okay, so this is going to send us now officially into overtime. We got 3 overtimes total. If we take the white flag, then we will make this race official. However, if we get another yellow on the first lap, then we will rack them up and try it again. And we might be finishing just before 1 a.m. here. We are going to have interviews with some of your top 3, including your winner, which whoever it is should be a pretty happy person with the amount of money that they are going to be going home with here tonight. Looks like Baker's mom says, boy, when I got on, they haven't stopped crashing. And yeah, that's just a part of it. Yeah, that's what I was talking about with the sense of it. Seems like with races like this, in perspective, let's say we had 20, 25 laps to go when we take the green flag. If we can go green from there closer to the end, they usually have a chance at finishing under green. The problem starts to come in when we have a caution. I would say maybe with 15 or less laps to go, everybody just get way too antsy. Everybody gets too excited about trying to get to the front immediately. And usually I would say 25th on back, they just don't have really much patience left. They know they got to claw their way to the front soon if they want a chance at the money. And this is what starts to happen. David Overstreet says, broadcast is great, though, doing an awesome job. Well, thank you, David. I certainly appreciate it. Joshua Holmes says, broadcast has got me hooked. Hey, the subscriber, yeah, that's a good thing. We'll take it. Joshua Holmes, we appreciate it. Anthony Casso says, what's the wind like over there? Hurricane, haha, sheesh. Oh, I'll tell you what it is. And actually part of it might be when you catch your breath from the each one, but the other part is I do have a pretty loud fan going. I'll have to make sure I fix that for next race. I apologize about that. Hopefully it's not too bad. Sweeping across the track. Oh, unless you meant I thought you meant the mic. I might be tripping either way. David Overstreet says, I think people didn't change how many cars they see. With 60 cars, you need to change. Yeah, these guys are doing a great job. Well, Baker, overtime time. Who do you got your money on?
Whoever is in the top 10 is probably going to come home in the money. I mean, everyone in the back is just being very impatient. I mean, we've ran 50-plus cars the past 3 weeks. 40 to 50 cars. We shouldn't have the problem that we're having right now, but people are just, there's no track awareness towards the back half of the field. We really need to clean it up. So, gave the guys a long talking to. Hopefully we get this restart, this overtime start one here underway. The people that are in the best spot is the mains boys. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 5. They are in an absolutely amazing spot right now. Matt Lee is going to try and push Garrett clear so he clears up in front of Kevin. That would be the best thing for him. And then Jason would be giving that push to Matt Lee. But I'm looking for one of the mains boys to secure this win here.
Especially if we have to use up all 3. Now, I guess the new rule that we talked about with those 3 green, white checkers, we're not going to end this race under yellow in the sense of that it's all manual cautions. So if these guys wreck on the first 2 green, white checkers, the third one is just free-for-all. If they wreck, then they're just going to have to keep wrecking all the way to the line. Now, of course, you can't intentionally wreck guys. If you wreck a guy for money payout, you're not going to get it. But nonetheless, this race will finish under green. These guys will cross the line at full speed one way or another. But I've always felt like in the back, even when I've been in the back in races like this, as eager as I am to get to the front, if you're wrecking in the back, then you're not going to have a chance to go to the front. And sometimes, as you were noting, Baker, guys, they got to settle down. You got to show patience. If you work together, catch up to the pack, and then make your move, you can have 2 laps around a 2.5-mile track is plenty of time to get back to the front. You don't have to rush it, but, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this last lap potentially end in carnage. But I think if you're in the top 10, maybe you're safe from it. And hey, who knows? We saw a photo finish once before the PGR Series. Maybe we'll see another one this week.
Pace car is going to turn hard down the pit road here. You're going to have the mains boys leading 1-2 on the outside here. And I'm looking for Garrett or Kevin to get the win here. If not, Dawson Weiss on that third line if they can get something organized.
Garrett Maines, over 9,000 I rating. Couldn't count how many wins he's got. Never mind the amount of wins he's got in the Super Speedway races. Green flag is back in the air. 2 laps to go here at Talladega.
Nope.
So far, so good. Everybody trying to get clean, trying to get things going. And we're going to wreck again. This is going to bring the caution out. We got one flipping. That's the 88 of Heath Job upside down. The 89 takes a hard shot as well. And we will have to rack them up and try it again here. This was more towards the middle of the pack this time. But another caution, another incident of guys maybe just getting a little too aggressive here. As we try to find Heath Job, we got to take a look from his point of view. Actually, may not have been on the lead lap. So we look for that. He wasn't. Heath Job was in the middle of this pack, but was not on the lead lap. Here we go. See if we can go to this most recent caution. He might have been involved in the last one as well. All right. Take a look from the TV follow cam. And we're going to have to do this the hard way. It looks like we sure enough are. I apologize for the slow stuff. 60 trucks, it gets a little bit harder sometimes to do the replays. There was Heath Job, and for some reason, why does it keep taking us out of it right now? Here we go. Let's see if we can get a good view of Heath Joe from this view. And yeah, I'm not able to get one. Adrian Watts was still on the pits. So we're just going to take a look from somebody else's perspective here. That may not have been Heath Joe. That may have been what it was. It had looked like Heath Job. Again, it's kind of hard to tell when they're upside down, but that may not have been Heath Job, actually. And that could very well describe why we couldn't see him. Logan York looks like he gets by it relatively unscathed, but what's going to start it is the question. Baker, you got any insight for us on it? And he is currently taking... It's going to take me getting some used to. We're used to having Baker all to ourselves up here in the booth in the sense of whenever we got him, we can get him, but he's double dutying as race control, of course, this week, so we can't get him every time. We got to be a little bit more careful with when we get him here. We're still trying to find who this was. I saw the 89, I believe, get involved in this as well.
And I am back. Looks like Cody Nagels gets Troy Wilson turned down to the inside. Cody Nagels, no fault there. Troy Wilson just turns across the nose, and he disconnected for the night. He caused a lot of issues, and it's just going to come with learning super speedway racing, learning this money racing. You just got to know where your truck is all times on the track, and a lot of people towards the back don't really know what's the top lane, what's the bottom lane. It's been really rough, but it's been a lot of fun up front towards the beginning of the race, so let's hope we can get a good green-white checkered here to the finish.
Open so, and there's the big flip. Still could not tell the exact number of who that was, but either way, I mean, the last 4 or 5 wrecks have been, I would say, 20th on back. Devin Ray says it was me. There we go. That would make a little more sense. The one-stop shop with the white and red scheme. So Devin goes for a tumble. Not sure if Devin had a faster pair or not. Got to assume you got to use it. Shaking my head. And Joshua Holmes says, come on, guys, you got to be patient. Well, they certainly aren't if they don't want to be patient. The reality is none of the ones that are in the back are going to have a shot at the money because they're going to wreck all through green-white checkers. And if you do that, then you're never going to have had a shot to get up to the front either way. So Garrett Maines, Kevin Freese still got the first row locked up. Kevin Freese second, Matt Lee third, John Ellis Jr. fourth. And Jason Maines in fifth. Medium Icy says just stop the yellows and let the front race. Let me tell you the only problem with that is, Icy, is if something like that were to occur, the amount of I don't even know what the word would be. The amount of shade that would be thrown from the back half of the field to race control would just be absurd. But no, I mean, we should be able to get this thing hopefully cleaned up. Again, these guys have 2 more tries at it, including this one right here. They just got to make that first lap. If we can get back to the start-finish line, then the race will be official. And actually, it almost seems like reverse, but usually that calms guys down because when they know we have the white flag, they know they don't have to worry about another caution out and a chance at them maybe not being able to gain any more track position. And they'll simmer down a little bit. They'll focus more on racing or potentially backing off and then dodging the big wreck if they see it. But looks like Devin Ray says used on the last one. So, yeah, Devin's not going to have a fast pair in that wild tumble. And that's going to hurt Devin's chances for the night. Sean Hill, Sebastian Marin, Gabe Butler. That's a powerful trio right there. Not all teammates, 2 of them are, but looking to see if we get the one to go this time. And Baker, I'd like to see if we can bring up one more person here in the booth. And I was hoping to see if it was somebody that maybe we don't see too often. But you know the guy that always gives us a good interview when we want one is going to be Zachary Lima. But let's see how he's running first here real quick. I know he's not having the night he initially had wanted from the start, but
looks like he's 2 laps down.
Yeah, so either way, not been a great night for Lima, so we're going to go ahead and probably try someone else. But most of the people I see are guys that we've either talked to or we normally talk to, so we're just going to go ahead and hold off on it for now. Baker's mom says, good announcing, guys. Well, we certainly appreciate that. Baker's been doing a heck of a job out here tonight, holding down the Ford double duty. And there's the 43 of Zach Range. You see him kind of on the bottom left of your screen. Where did he come from? Sneaking back up here inside the top 15. He sits actually just outside the top 15. Going to be in 16th position now. He sneaks inside the top 15. So second overtime. Remember when Dawson told us they're going to be good on field for definitely 2, potentially 3. Again, with all these cautions, you think everybody's going to be good, but you always have in the back of your mind what happens if somebody either runs out coming to the green or on the white flag lap if they're in the middle of the pack. That could spell disaster. We'll see, Baker, if we can make it past turn 1s and 2 this time.
Man, I'm just looking at this restart here, and I really hope we're able to hold it together. That way we don't have to use this last green light checker. We're really whittling down the field, though. We're towards what we're normally seeing. Hopefully we can keep it together in the mid-pack, and we can get a great restart like we've been getting up front. Pace car is going to pull down. Garrett Maines again going to lead that inside line with Kevin Freeze to the top side.
And we're going to take a look from the blimp cam so we can indeed see the whole field this time. Don't want to miss out on anything. And yet, 46 trucks left on the lead lap. One truck 3 laps down. The rest of them are all out of the race as it stands right now. Here we go. Green flag is back in the air. Overtime number 2 at Talladega. And you can already see that checkup on the outside towards the back. But so far, so good. Keep an eye on the blimp cam. We had one that missed a shift, has heavy damage or something along the line. So they drop all the way to the back, working our way down into turns 1 and 2 now. And here we go. We're starting to finally get them revved up. And 2 wide. We might see 3 wide here down the backstretch.
No 3 wide. They're still kind of tucked in line. You're looking for a 3 wide about 10 trucks back. Merck's going to maybe look to the outside. He goes up. They've got 4 trucks lined up there. Look for another truck to maybe look 3 wide. You see that middle line start to roll. Kevin's clear to the bottom. Let's see if... Oh, no, he can't get clear. Kevin's going to lead that middle line. It's going to check up that middle line pretty substantial. They're going to be side by side down the back here, coming to the turn 4.
Dawson Wise was leading the outside, but Sean Hill wanted it a little more. He now jumps to the outside, and we're going down into the tribal to make this race official. Starter's got the flag in hand, and that means 1 more lap around Talladega to crown a winner. $750. Who wants it?
Kevin Freeze leading that middle line. They've got a huge run. Dawson White's giving a great push. Good side draft from Sean Hill. Looks like he's going to get the run on the outside. They're going to touch. That got that net code from John Mullahan. But you see Garrett Maines leading that bottom line. They're doing great. We talked about it. John Mullahan loose. They're going to wreck up that Jeff Merkitt's turn.
Big wreck. This is going to break them all up. We are going to have a 2-on-2-on-3. Maybe a couple more. Zach Range somehow misses it all. He finds his way back on track. But right now, Maine's teammate Kevin Freeze versus Sean Hill on the outside. Dawson Wise gives him one last shot. All he's got now, Kevin looks for the side draft. He might get cleared. We're going to come into the tribal for the final time. Can we keep it clean? No, we're going to wreck. They're all going to wreck. Sean Hill's going to sneak through. He's going to be the big winner tonight. $750 goes to Sean Hill. Wow, what a thriller of a finish. But they all pile it up in the tribal, and Sean Hill wins it uncontested. And Sebastian Marin given some congratulatory bumps. NBG going to be going home with a pretty sweet payday. John Ellis Jr. finishes 2nd. Sebastian Marin 3rd. Matt Lee 4th. And Vicente Guerrero rounding out your top 5. Zach Range finds himself the money. Jason Maines. Austin Moore, good comeback for him. Brett Spott and Kevin Freeze all rounding out your top 10. We might see a rollback or 2 right here. And man, chaos and carnage in the tribal. We're going to have to go back and take a look at it. Checker flag moment as there goes Seabass. Going to do a little rollback action. Here we go. Let's take a look. And they'd already wrecked big in the back. We saw that big wreck. That didn't really change the outcome here up front. But this is where things are going to start to get a little crazy and a little chaotic here. Where is the first contact going to start?
Garrett Maines and Weiss is following down Sean Hill. And then Sean Hill is clear to the middle. He has nothing wrong there. But it looks like Dawson Weiss just kind of follows him towards that middle line. And looks
tunnel
like he
vision.
gets turned by Kevin. Got that tunnel vision, yeah.
Yeah, we've seen it before. It's when the truck in front slowly goes down and you're pushing that hard. You really can't tell. And it looked like that's what happened there. Garrett, oh man, Sean Hill is lucky in the sense of he just by inches cleared Garrett bumpers right front, or he would have been spun around as well. And then after that, the mad dash is on, but Sean Hill with only probably 100 yards to go. He knows he's got it wrapped up, and you know he was probably smacking the steering wheel and screaming. He knows he's got the money. He knows he had it secured. And let's take one more view of this wreck on the backstretch. Not sure what had happened here, but John Mullahan had been all out of shape, and eventually somebody somewhere could not hold it any longer. So they've got about they had like a 5-truck tandem going. Eventually Jeff Merck gets out of line. They're going to wreck a couple more up front. Dylan Jones gets involved. And that's what led all the way to the battle up front and eventually led to the checkered flag being taken by Sean Hill. We got interviews with your top three, but I know some of you are going to head out for the night, so I do want to say before anybody leaves, appreciate everybody that came out tonight. Again, not quite up to the standards we wanted tonight on any way on the race, on the broadcast. So we apologize for that, but nonetheless, we tried what we had. We gave it the best shot, and we appreciate you all tuning in. Hope you all did enjoy. We will see you next time on that instance, but stay tuned if you want to hear from the top three next. We'll be right back. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. We're going to start with third place finisher. Matthew Baker stands by with Sebastian Marin, who found his way back in right at the end.
Seabass, this is Austin and Matt up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, you weren't even supposed to be in this race. We had Ambrose back out, and you were on that wait list to get in. You got in. We're running up front, went towards the back a little bit. We were able to get back up there to get a podium finish for Dale Cup. How'd you do it?
Man, to be honest, I don't know. Started out front, kind of lost the track position a little early, and then just not paying attention. I sped in the pits and lost all that track position, and I struggled the rest of the night to get it back. We had some fortunate restarts. I kept starting on the outside back-to-back for a few times, and I kept gaining 4 to 5 spots every restart, and managed to get myself in the top 10. And then there on that last restart, I avoided the wreck. And to be honest, I had a good buddy of mine, Vicente, behind me. I wouldn't really even stand a chance to be up there if he didn't stick with me and push me and, at least give us a shot to get a run at the top guys when they had their squabbles. So big shout out to Vicente for pushing me. Obviously not the race that everybody wanted, but can't be too disappointed with third place after being at the back majority of the race. So
Absolutely. Well, anyone you want to thank? Shout out sponsors.
Shout out to the Dale Cup teammates, Gabe, Zach, and Steve. They all had their misfortunes there at the end. Shout out to you guys and the broadcast, of course, for having to stick through for the unfortunate events of the race being delayed and obviously not the race that everybody wanted. So shout out to you guys for holding on, and we'll do better next time. Usually it doesn't go like this, so hopefully nobody's too beat up about it. So again, shout out to you guys. So yeah.
Well, thanks for the shout out, Seabass. Hope to see you again next race.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, and now we're going to go ahead and drag in second place finisher, John Ellis Jr. John, you got a copy?
I got you guys.
All right, well, actually, let me go ahead and pull you up on the big screen real quick. Give me just a moment here since we got you. Now, I want to ask you tonight, coming into the race, we knew it was going to be crazy, but at the end there, things were looking really good for the mains boys. Man, where did it all seem like it went wrong?
Got some guys behind us that don't know how to drive and wreck every race. Same thing every week, every day. We're up front, and then we got guys pushing through us, wrecking us all, and we lose.
Well, you still managed to.
Frustrating.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, we saw at the end you guys had probably maybe top 3 even all swept, but nothing that can really be done after it happened there through the trial. But overall, the rest of the race, how'd you feel it went?
We can't really complain too much about the start of the race up until like the last few laps. I mean, we had 4 guys in the top 5 the entire race, did everything perfect, and just unfolded on the final green, white, checkered like always. It's frustrating. It's a good race though. I mean, it's a fun event. It sucks that we had so many cautions. sounded like they were all in the back too, which just doesn't make sense to me. But it was good racing up front, especially in that I think we had 10, 15 laps early on. That was a ball. But then we started pacing, and we were frustrated at that. And then it got down to 10 to go. It's like, well, keep wrecking them up. And unfortunately, all my guys were in that last one though.
All right, well, tough ending to the day for the mains team, but still congrats on the third place finish. Before we let you go, is there anyone you would like to thank or shout out?
Just the team. Like I said, we were excellent all night up until the end where we got wrecked. Austin, you for putting on the broadcast, Baker for race control and giving us some entertainment while we're sitting there pacing, and Triscaro for organizing all this. Hopefully the next one goes a little better for everyone, but overall, good event.
All right, man. Thanks for talking to us, and hopefully we'll see you next Thursday.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
All right, that's going to bring us to our winner tonight, where Matthew Baker stands by with his teammate, the big man with 750.
Yeah, Alex, this is Matt and Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, we heard it over the radio when he came across the line. I mean, I don't think you get that win without Dawson. He gave a great push there out of the tri-oval. Kind of unfortunate he got tunnel vision cleared across Kevin's nose, but nonetheless, you guys are 100% going to win that race. Talk to me how you guys got back up to through the field. I mean, you were sitting, 13th, 14th with about 5 to go, and you're able to make your way up front on that third line where we really didn't see any success towards the latter half of the race.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% wouldn't have been able to do it without Dawson. I mean, he just gave the push of a lifetime and pushed me up there, man. I thought I was just going to be settling for 8th or 10th, honestly. We've had a couple cautions, and I wasn't moving anywhere. So a big, huge shout out to Dawson, man. I mean, he's the reason why I got the win. Yeah, it's unfortunate that they all wrecked behind, but, I mean, wow. Just a great guy.
Well, great run for you. We had the struggles in the beginning. Great three-wide racing throughout, and then once the caution started coming out, they just didn't stop coming out. But nonetheless, the big winner today, $750. Anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, we're all racing for Cody and his Gramps tonight, so we're just running for them, man. It's all to them. Yeah, big shout out to them. Everyone over at MBG, Jeff, Mark, Matt Lee, and of course Cody and Dawson. A big, huge shout out to him, man. Everyone at Ghost Racing Network and Mike for putting this on, man.
Well, thanks for talking to us, man. Big winner here, Alex Hill.
All right, and that's going to lead us to your results for tonight. Remember, top 10 got paid. Sean Hill first, $750. John Ellis Jr. finishes second. Still brings home a pretty handsome sum of money, $400. Sebastian Marin in third. Matt Lee fourth. Vicente Guerrero fifth. Zach Range sixth. Jason Main seventh. Going to be Austin Moore in eighth. Brett Spod ninth. And Kevin Freeze rounding out your top 10.
Richard Elliott in 11th, Rhett Tucker in 12th, Dawson Weiss in 13th. Had that great run to the line. Just a little bit of tunnel vision, but still nonetheless a great run for him in a big event. Dylan Jones in 14th, Cody Nagels 15th, Garrett Maines in 16th. I mean, another wreck where he is out front leading one of the lines and just gets wrecked. Unfortunate. Ron Morris in 17th, Trevor Osmernoth in 18th, David Sheets in 19th, and Steve Korsak in 20th.
21st, Bobby Forbes. 22nd, Cole Fitzpatrick. Logan York, 23rd. J.R. Miller, 24th. Ken McCall Jr., 25th. Gabe Butler, 26th. Mike Davenport, 27th. Christopher McCall, 28th. Joshua Watson, 29th. And Ryan Haynes rounding out your top 30.
Chad Ross in 31st. You got Dalton Powell there in 32nd. Sierra Clampert in 33rd. Fought back from 2 laps down to finish at least on the lead. That great to see that from her. You've got Tanner Kessinger in 34th, Jeff Merck in 35th, Casey Sawich in 36th, Andrew McGonigal 37th, John Lalahan, first car lap down 38th, Danny Eshelman 39th, and John Warden 40th.
41st, Brian Watson. 42nd, Brock Westmoreland. 43rd, Bradley Steffen. 44th, Ryan Bass. Michael Triscaro, 45th. John Darnell, 46th. Charles Abert, 47th. Troy Wilson, 48th. Devin Ray, 49th. Zachary Lima in 50th.
Danny Barnes in 51st, Dustin Carruthers in 52nd, Mark Vondell in 53rd, Jacob Emery in 54th, Adrian Watts in 55th, Heath Job in 56th. You've got Christopher Hall in 57th, Daniel Eberhardt with a bad luck in 58th, David Duke in 59th, and Michael Menchaca in 60th.
And that is going to round out your results for the tonight. Well, you know, Baker, I really do feel bad for the mains in this case. They really did dominate a race, and you know, they didn't get a chance to show much at the end in the sense of because we had to pace around for all the laps towards the end, and then unfortunately they get wrecked anyway. But congrats to Sean Hill on the big win. John Ellis Jr. still able to bring home the mains team some money. Sebastian Merrill with a heck of a comeback. But, I mean, from our hands, Baker, whether it's race control, broadcast, driver, there's nothing we can really do. I mean, some of the guys in the back, they're going to have to figure it out. And it's going to have to be one of those things where everybody figures it out and understands it at the same time. It can't just be one guy understanding and 10 others not, you know?
Yeah, it just, you know, I really want to see the back half of the field bring it all together. And there's no other person to describe that. Michael Triscaro, we got him here in the booth right now. Michael, how did the event look in your eyes? I know it didn't run like we wanted it to, but talk me through the race and what you saw there coming to the end.
Yeah, it was obviously it's a sort of a disappointment, but at the end of the day, that happens. Obviously, we're running on a simulator. We're all trying to do the right thing, but sometimes we don't. We also have really big fields here and a lot of new guys coming in each and every week. And I just think that there's some cleaning up to do. But we got the right guys in charge to do that. I know for me, just promoting it, I put a lot of time and effort into this, especially this race. And for me, too, as a driver, it was kind of a disappointment on that end, too. But, you know, sometimes you just got to flush it and not worry about what people say, move on and do what you can to improve for next time.
Well, we certainly thank you for all the work you put in. We know we were, you know, you and I were staying up till 2, 3 o'clock getting this event ready, making sure we had all our P's and Q's. But, you know, it happens. We'll come back stronger for the next marquee event. And, I mean, still, with all that being said, we pay out over $2,100 to the drivers back, 100% payback after the broadcast and race control fees. So I'd say that's pretty good for a $34 entry for 60 trucks. Thanks for talking to us, Michael, and we can't wait for the next one.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
All right, and on that note, that is going to wrap it up for us tonight. Again, next place I head here on Ghost Racing Network is going to be to the NOMA Truck Series season opener on Saturday at Daytona. Thank you all for sticking it out, sticking around. I believe the race time itself was over, let's see, we started at about 11-ish. So the race itself probably lasted 2.5 hours. So thank you all for sticking around and sticking it out. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.